We are live. Welcome to episode 9 of the Degen report.
Woo woo! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, as always, fellow Degens. This is episode 9, like Mitch said, so we are one away from our double-digit episode next week. And this week we have a wonderful guest on to join us. We have the StevieCrypto. So I'm going to turn that over to him, let him introduce himself, tell you a little bit more about what he does in the crypto CNFT space, how he got to this point in the space, and yeah, just let him share what he wants to share. So Stevie, floor is yours.
All right. So that's me. I'm StevieCrypto. You're probably going to have to repeat some of those questions because you just asked me like 8 things at once, and I can only do a couple things at a time. So you just asked me who I am. That's who I am. What I do? Well, currently, thanks to Cardano NFTs, and I guess it's the anniversary of Adapunks, and that's kind of, I guess, where I realized I met like some of my core homies that I've been in touch with for a year at this point. So me and about a dozen other homies, we have a Twitter space that we do every week where we just act like a bunch of knuckleheads and party it up. It's supposed to be about NFTs, cryptocurrency, and stocks, but we just bust each other's balls a whole lot and forget about the shit we're supposed to be talking about. All right, next part is what? Me and crypto?
Yeah. So how you got into the CNFT space, and kind of what points led you there, or what points led you here?
Okay, how to get into the CNFT space or the Cardano NFT space is this. A little bit more than a year ago. So rewind, like at the near beginning of Bitcoin. I don't know how long ago that was at this point, but I heard about that shit. I could program a little bit, so I figured out how to mine it. Ended up buying a couple like ASICs, like from I think Bitmain or Antminer or something like that. So shout out to them and shout out to my electric bill because I heated the entire basement after a while, just mining some of that before I even thought about buying it or trading it or anything like that. So after a handful of years doing that, and then again figuring that shit out, like mining some Litecoin and some other shit here and there, Bitcoin Cash, when that came out, I turned my miners over to that for like a couple weeks, which was crazy. Like the first few weeks of mining Bitcoin Cash, it was just a quick snap. It was crazy how it was working.
Nice.
It was cool again, but I didn't know that much. I didn't know what to do with it besides use it for online gambling. The reason why I originally wanted this Bitcoin shit was because this online site I was using stopped letting me use my debit card. So I noticed they accepted Bitcoin. So I'm like, word, what do I got to do about that? So I opened up a Coinbase wallet. And again, this is like as soon as Coinbase opened, they only had Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin maybe, tops all together. I don't know. So I figured out how to fund that a little bit and to to send over the shit I was mining over to that. And I was, playing online poker for a hot minute. While I was mining. And then I'm a math guy. I read graphs and charts. By the way, you guys can chime in and tell me to shut up or ask me something at any time, just so you know. So I liked, again, years ago, before there were many altcoins, flipping around and finding some of the new ones and trying that out. But I think my mentality, again, I always thought it was pronounced hold, just wrong spelled, but I hear a lot of people calling it hodl. So I'm going to ride with you on that. So I've been of the hodl mentality. So, I'm that dude who says, oh, I found this in an old wallet. It's true because I got an old Trezor, that had stuff on it just because I forgot about it after a while. Because I'm like, yo, I need a Trezor. This is almost a decade ago, So I put something on there and not think about it, but yo, maybe in a few years, whatever. So I've ridden through crashes and all that bullshit. However many there were, I've seen 90% of them probably, I guess. I bought Litecoin originally at $4 or $8 or whatever it was then.
Jeez.
So it was again a hot minute ago.
Yeah.
And this was before I got shadow banned. So I was on Twitter and there was a handful of other people out there tweeting about cryptocurrency and shit. and I won't say their names because I ain't a sheller like that. But I got shadow banned like a motherfucker, and totally like I was at stacks of followers among these other couple dudes that again have like tens and hundreds of thousands of followers because they've been there. They never got shadow banned apparently. So I was learning and communicating with a lot of these other guys then, figuring out some shit. But again, set it and forget it. I DCA, I think is what the kids call it now. So I do that a little here and there. Win or lose on some poker, but take my winnings, throw it back in there, blah, blah, blah. Shit, I put it in BlockFi when that first started. So I don't know if you guys know what that
making
is.
bank, making fucking bank.
Well, I didn't realize it at the time because again, it wasn't a big thing. So I'm like, BlockFi, sure, I'll put some over there. I'll throw this Litecoin over there. I'll throw this Bitcoin over there. And again, I set it, forget it, don't touch it. So, a while later, I'm like, oh shit, I got this on my computer. I open it up. I don't know the passwords. Shit saved on my computer. You know what I mean? It's like a year and a half later. And I'm like, ooh, because like originally the percents were gangsta. They were gangsta initially. Now it's bullshit. Now, like, if you were tied in, like good for you. 2%. If not, it's shit. Unless you're tied in from before and you get, I think I have a little something in there and I get a little something, but it's a little something in comparison to 5, 6, 7 years ago. Again, I'm just guessing at times. I'm bad at times. So I had all that, had a MetaMask, didn't realize that like at some point, maybe whenever they came out, I had like some crypto kitties and shit like that. I didn't know. I don't know what those were. Didn't think about it. Blah, blah, blah. Am I summing this up quickly? Because I swear I'm getting closer to the point. Stop yawning, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you're good.
So, thanks. Okay.
So now these days, do you keep on doing all that gambling, or do you do more so of that gambling with like NFTs?
Booyakasha. So check it out. So like I was somebody who used to buy like scratch tickets and shit like that. And then after a while of just using them to roll some because they were just dead under my seat, I'm like, okay, instead of on payday, I'm going to buy like, a handful of scratch tickets. Again, payday turned into, okay, I'll put like $100 over into this Coinbase shit and whatever, every other week or whatever like that. So, okay, so your question was, do I still gamble? Well, these sites, because I've been there for a while, they always give me all this stuff to gamble with anyways. So, like, I get alerts like, yo, you get this. So, again, like I said, I'm part of the hodl. So, like, even in like Texas Hold'em, I sit and chill. I'm ready to ride it out. I'm only playing the top, like, 15 hands. I barely have time for that at this point because, like you were mentioning earlier or whatever, like, I'm a busy dude. So I don't have time to click buttons and be like, and just waiting for pocket rockets or something,
Mm-hmm.
But because I do know you and I have jumped in a wildcards time from time, you are going to CNFT. You are going to CNFT con also. So are you bringing a bunch to gamble there, or?
Well, first of all, shout out to like Ugly Bros and Roy. Roy's on the soundboard as usual. Ugly Bros got us a big old booth where my mama and all my mama's friends and the wild cards can shake it up in there with the Ugly Bros and I think with the Shark Tank homies. So it's going to be ugly up in there, getting crazy. So my dough, I don't, again, time-wise, I mean, unless like you're there and we're kicking it and you're like, yo, let's go play a hand of this or let's go do this together. Nah, that's number like, that's way down on my list because CNFT con, man, I'm a working dude. I don't have like payroll like you guys having sexy mics and stuff like that. So it's like flying out to Vegas and back, throwing down bank for this. Y'all know how much the electricity is for a booth out there? I'm not going to tell you if you don't know, but I had to sell half of Beto's bag over here to afford, pitching in on that electric bill for real. Serge from Ugly Bros paid for the whole thing itself. So again, wild cards are like, yo, we're going to throw down and take care of the electricity at least, because I heard that the money for the table or the space or whatever is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So,
which kind of makes sense because the tickets are like 30 ADA, 60 ADA, so that's not really where they're making their money.
no,
For a
that's how
convention.
conventions do you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was looking.
Yeah.
I was looking at the
Conventions get
map
you
for
those things.
CNFT Con, and the Ugly Bros have a huge booth. So I know
Yeah.
like the electric for their booth is going to be crazy.
There's
Don't
gonna be
remind
a
me.
fucking party there.
That shit is 30 by 30. And like, I know
Yeah, it's
Serge is a
crazy.
big dude, but he's not 30 by 30. So like, come
Yeah.
on now. And unless y'all don't know, like, okay, so you guys invited me here. Bless you. Thank you. Again, it was a beautiful mistake. But I represent me and my crew and my fam and obviously the WildCards crew. And so WildCards, shit, we're going to be rolling out there as thick as we are, or hopefully as close to it, you know, so that we'll probably be like 10 deep up in that motherfucker. So
Nice.
we need some
Dope.
space in that booth. You know, we
Yeah.
got Cobra's kissing booth going on in there. D-Clay's wrestling people for Claymates. Like, for real. Like, it's really happening. It's going to be crazy. You're
That's so
smiling
sick.
like I'm kidding.
No,
That's so
no.
sick. I just wish I
maybe
was going.
Yeah.
I got an extra ticket. It's either for you or Snoop Dogg. So holla at your boy.
Nah. I appreciate the gesture. Nah, I'm getting married on the 22nd next month, so I got family coming in town next month. I got a lot going on, so
Congratulations.
I'm gonna make
Congratulations.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'll make it next year though, for sure.
Well, you liked it and put a ring on it.
That's right. It was
By
her Stutter boy.
Hey, and I said no.
He
So.
said no.
Dude's creeping.
So let's kind of change the topic to talking about the most recent Twitter Cardano drama, which was that Cardano Whale deleted his Twitter profile, which had like maybe 100,000 followers. What is our view on that, and why did he do that?
You're asking the wrong man. So, like, for real, I wish I had an answer for you. The other day, I opened the Twitters, you know, I'm scrolling through and I see a lot of whale stuff, you know, and, you know, everybody like repping with like, you know, the PFPs for the whale. And again, like other projects just showing respect for Ada Whale. I don't know why the slide. I don't know why the pullback or anything. I don't know if it's permanent or temporary. I don't know. So I can only speculate, and I don't want to speculate on someone else's behalf.
Oh, I do.
Okay, well, okay. So with your little devilish grin, my friend, I'm gonna tell you to be honest and to be true to like my fam, you know, because that's how we roll, obviously. Shit's been toxic as a motherfucker, and like in the past, I don't know how many months at this point, and like you know, a handful of minutes ago, I mentioned like I've ridden bulls and I've wrestled bears, you know, like a bunch of them. Like, if you look close, I got gray up in this thing right here. I know I look young and pretty, but I'm not that young. So it's like, I'm used to it. I get worried sometimes, as I have all the time. But listen, like, again, I'm bad at time, but there was some crash about like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know, it peaked at like 16 and a half or something like that in August. And then the fall off, right? Bitcoin, I mean, you know. And again, that's like that was like my retirement shit. Like I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, oh no, I'm trying to buy a house and a car and a blah. And I'm like, oh, you know, I made smart moves a month before. I took a little slice at a time, and that's what helped put me in my house. And don't let the basement room fool you. I actually have a crib. This is just a hidden cave where a lot of weird shit happens.
Sure, man. Sure.
Okay. I don't got to prove nothing. You just don't know what's going on behind the camera. There's some weird shit. Riding through those like bears and those like scary sentiments and stuff like that. Like, again, I don't want to name drop, but what the hell? Like at least one dude who I still really love and respect with tight. Like this dude, the Bitcoin dude, his like profile on Twitter is just like, you know, the dude from The Big Lebowski. Like, he and I have been going back and forth probably almost for like 7 years or so or something. You know what I mean? Or again, I don't know time, so whatever. And so I see how sentiment goes. I see how cycles and waves go. I see those highs and lows. I'm not OG like that, but shit, I guess I am, because there are a lot of people who maybe this is their first. Thanks, brother.
Back 70 years ago, Big T and I were like 15.
That's what I'm saying. I was in high school. I was in high school.
Okay, quick side note. That's when I was using Raspberry Pis to do some other weird shit, hooking up with graphics card and like, jumpers and all that. And I won't say the kid's name, but I had a student that taught how to.
We were not.
I'm a special ed teacher, and about that time, I taught my students how to mine Litecoin using Raspberry Pis and a couple other pieces of equipment. And they were doing this again 7-8 years ago. So you could have been that dude. So imagine you're that dude who doesn't know anything, and you just hit like sudo and whatever that whole command strip is to run that stuff on the Pi, and you've been mining that since, again, it was nothing. I think he graduated. He had a cooler car than your boy. That's for sure. But you bring it to dude, and I brought it to sentiment. So we're in a weird ass time, right? Like, and this is one of the first. I'm not a market's mind or brain, but I feel like this is one of the first times where the crypto market and the stock exchange are mirroring one another. Before it was opposite, and when that was opposite, it was also the altcoins were here and Bitcoin was here, and then vice versa. So people were flipping these to make more of this would over and over and over again, right? Now altcoins and Bitcoin and everything, they're all riding the same basically. Just depends on how heavy, how geometric or parabolic or any of that. But it's crappy now, and it's crappy for people who were buying like Cardano at $3 or around there, buying these fantastic projects that still exist, but the value of ADA isn't there. Some of the hype or motivation of the projects aren't as much there. So people are feeling.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you see people like Wab come in, and you will love him or hate him. He's bringing so many more people to Cardano by talking about it. Because he makes fun of every blockchain, right? So and then like I kept on seeing Wab get told to go end his life and shit like that, which just looks so terrible and looks so bad on our community. So then you look at somebody like Ada Whale who had like 3 times as many followers as Wab does, so there's 3 times as many eyes on him. So to be that main person in any community must be so hard. But whether he can come back or not too sure. But
yeah. I was.
I was
gonna.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No, take it away, Stevie. You got it.
No, I was gonna say thank you for giving me even that perspective, because I'm a special ed teacher. Like I'm this mindful dude. I got a bad mouth and I'm rambunctious, but I think about the connection between, I guess, emotion and trading, emotion and money or crypto, and emotion of even pressure. Like you said, dude's got like this times many followers. Now followers, I get it. Like, it's great to have lots. There's quality, there's real, there's all that too, right? But it's like how many people are constantly paying attention to you. And so on One Piece, you said Cardano Whale, like, again, to feel that from what's going on, word, y'all can step back and take a breather. Like, is it forever? I don't know. That's an enigma at this point, right? But another thing is, I think what I flipped it in my head from what you said is like, almost how does that reflect the overall like Cardano NFT vibe or sentiment or like, oh, because like, you know, again, the volume of any of these other blockchains versus, you know, Cardano in regard to like NFTs and whatever, you know, it's exciting when people say or actually do come from other blockchains and throw some sort of stack because, yeah, like, you know, some of these blue chips on Cardano, that, you know, if you flip it that way, they're like an ETH and a half, right? You know, about 2 ETH sometimes and about. So if you're like, yo, I can, you know, I made this on ETH, for example, and it's easy for me just to get in on one of these chips for a couple ETH word, you know? But then what does that say about the influence with like some of the other smaller projects and the availability to sweep and blah, 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 blah. So you also brought up that other dude coming into the space. I guess any hype is all right hype. Any attention. I mean, that's why rap battles, I'm not saying that specifically about, you know, anything, but I'm saying that like, you know, back in the day, I'm old school, 90s, like every rapper hated each other. Like nowadays, everybody's featuring each other and they're all buddies and everybody's cool and that's great. But like back in that era, like everybody had beef with everybody. Did they really? Probably not. I mean, did Nikolai Volkov and Hulk Hogan really not get along in old school wrestling? They were probably best friends, but on the stage they hated each other. And the more you hate or the more you bring controversy or the more you whatever, you get attention. Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? So there's attention at least, regardless of what magnitude, regardless of followers, whatever. At least they're fresh followers paying attention to this blockchain Cardano and those and potentially those NFTs as well.
Yeah.
Completely agree, but then you get too many followers, and then that can get to you. Like when Wab is the biggest memer on Cardano. So when he posted something serious like that got to him. So you imagine like somebody like Cardano Whale, which doesn't meme people that hard, but he kind of just is that face. He doesn't deserve to get these things happening to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say like my main point. And we talked about this a little bit last week because we talked about WAB because that was like kind of like the popping off thing at the beginning of last week on last week's pod. But I think they kind of correlate in a way. Like if I don't know, this is just me, I guess, inserting myself in Ada Whale's shoes, which I don't know if that's like correct. But if I'm Ada Whale and I'm a very like I think he's made a lot of Twitter threads about this, but I think he's just some average Joe that got into Cardano like a long time ago that just really loves like the technical part of Cardano and believes in like the infrastructure of the blockchain itself. And I feel like if I'm him in my whole time, in my whole presence on Twitter for years and years, I've just been trying to like put out like really like technical content to educate people on why like Cardano can really, you know, change things for the world. And then you have some dude with like a stupid seal PFP that comes in and he basically has Cardano trending for a week, all on like just memes and stuff. If I'm him, like I'm probably going to want to take a step back as well because like you put so much time and effort into educating people the correct way, what you would think is the correct way, and then like the seal dude just comes and takes all the glory basically. And I feel like that would frustrate me.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I guess I got a question. Like, was this dude really responsible directly or whatever for Cardano trending?
No, I don't think so. And I think that Wales also hinted a couple of times on his Twitter about wanting to take a step back because like you were both saying, I think he's mentioned on his Twitter, like, you know, he's just some average guy that blew up and it's like a lot of pressure on his back to like kind of be the face of Cardano Twitter. Yeah.
Let me say this real quick. And this has been almost like a funny conversation that I've had with my crew recently as well, both in the DMs and publicly, is the notion of how much, and I don't want to use the fucking word, but I have to, how much influence does somebody have on somebody else, a populace, a demographic, a scene, a niche, any of that kind of stuff, right? And what strength is that influence? Now, the word influencer is the joke of my crew. You know what I mean? Because like, what does it mean to be an influencer? And I'm not referring to anybody in my crew. Shit, I got like 75 followers on fucking Twitter, so I'm far from an influencer like that. But
Right.
but even if with my 75 followers, if I say shit and people believe that shit, okay, am I influencing them, right? Even if it's just 75 people as opposed to thousands upon thousands, right?
That's
So-
that's a big thing I can relate to, because if you go to my Twitter like 2 or 3 months ago, I was doing that influencer thing where I'm like, this is what I'm minting. What are you guys minting? Then,
But
then
is that considered influencer? If,
Yes.
I guess putting it that way, if you put like an emoji with that face and all that, I guess saying that. But I mean, like, what about putting up? Again, this is just me, to be honest. I'm just saying, like, what about tweeting like, "Yo, have you heard about this mint's going on? What you think about that?" As a genuine question, or should that be saved for DMs, or should that be saved for something else?
So I just looked up the definition of a influencer, and it says a person or thing that influences another. So me talking to Big T, telling him that tomatoes, that they're kind of good. That's me setting a influence on Big T, even though Big T disagrees with that. So
But you can get a bag of tomatoes from that dude on the street or from that little corner market for a couple bucks, and they could be shitty, and you could throw them away and not even eat them, but it's just a few bucks that you threw away off of some shitty tomatoes that dude bought because you said they're great, right?
Yeah, but that is my influence on Big T, when Big T might say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out and buy some shitty tomatoes from this homeless dude that I always see that's got some moldy ass tomatoes, but they look kind of good now." Which
So now again,
which I
I was going to just
feel
say. Go ahead, you go. You go.
Fuck.
which I feel we see so much with like these Cardano influencers, these ETH influencers. So I feel like I do better off knowing that as a quote unquote influencer, we know fucking nothing at all, and I make it a point to always say I am the dumbest person in this community, so maybe read my shit and giggle, laugh, maybe give me a like, and maybe go follow me on Twitch, but other than that, I know fucking nothing, so nobody knows anything.
Well, you're right. Nobody knows anything. But like what you just described as an influencer is and I agree, but I guess there's different magnitudes of influence, right? And I don't want to get stuck on this fucking conversation because I've been dealing with it with the homies battling on that shit. But check this out. You got Big T right there. No disrespect, Big T. But if dude tells you don't even fucking like tomatoes, you are not a tomato guy. You're allergic to fucking tomatoes, Big T, all right? And now this one dude says, "Yo, Big T, look at me. I got this good hair. I got this ill background going on with Universe 25. You know, like, see, I got these. See, don't.
He's
don't
got
show
a
me the
bud
bed
up there.
right
Yeah,
now.
he's
Don't
flexing.
show me-
He's got a bud. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a
excuse
butt up
me.
there.
I saw the bed. I thought you were showing Big T what was happening next. But
There's a hot
so-
girl in my bed.
okay, so check it though. So Big T, you have no interest in these tomatoes. You don't give a shit about tomatoes, but you love this guy. You believe this guy. Great. You're only one dude. He's only one dude telling you. You're gonna go to You're gonna go buy some random fucking tomatoes. Number one, or you're gonna like start like researching. Are tomatoes good? If you like this vegetable or fruit, it's a fruit. That's another thing you can Google. Like, will I like this one? Like, you got, do some research. Like, are there other things that are comparable to it that I might like that might be better for me? Blah, blah, blah. We got
Yeah.
these Google buttons right next to us all day. I could say, hey, to that lady that's built into my phone, and she can get me home. She can find me where the nearest blah, blah is. So I can't ask her, yo, what's up with this coin? What's up with this? Or then send a couple
Yeah.
dudes that I kind of know. Like, again, I love the WildCards crew. Okay, but like, I might throw it by them, but we're not going to agree on everything. Like, just because
Yeah.
the most handsome Puerto Rican on earth, Cobra, says, "Yo, Steve, this sounds great. You should buy that." I'm not going to be like, "Sweet, bing," and then just cash out on
Yeah.
something to get something. And so again, I that's one part of and then there's the other one. Like, yo, okay, I believe you, Mitch. I believe you, Stutter. I believe everything you say. I'm going to get those tomatoes. Well, then, I don't know. I'm not a little kid, and like again, I and no disrespect to somebody who hears somebody and says, "I want to jump in on that," but kinda,
Yeah.
like, yo,
Yeah, I mean, when
again,
this is
This
like,
is-
yeah,
you know
this
enough
is
to
real
download
world.
a wallet, you should.
Yeah, this
Go
is
ahead.
like real world money. Yeah, that's my thing too. Is like you can't.
It's
I mean, a
dope.
lot of what we're doing is like speculating. Really, like we're just hoping that like this long term plays out in our favor. So, yeah, I think we always preach like do your own research, but like that. I mean, that's because it's true. Like you can't go off of and like you were saying. I know like you and the wild card guys like y'all are heavy into spaces, so like you can't. If y'all have somebody come up and like talk about their project and shit like that, that's not being like an influencer in the sense of like, hey, I'm promoting this. Like if you're asking genuine questions and things like that, and even if you are promoting it, like that shouldn't influence someone else to spend their money that they like work a 9 to 5 to make
Well, okay.
on that.
Listen, Big
Like it's
T,
just wild.
you
It's
make
wild.
it's wild. It's wild cards. No, but
That's
honestly,
right.
you make two good points. You made more than two good points, but two specifically. One, it's real dough. So like, yo, like regardless of if you bought it or if you did something to it's dough. It's something that you could have liquidated and turned into a new lawnmower or a payment on something or a new phone or jacket, like but you chose to purchase this instead. You know what I mean? And now the
Yeah.
other thing that you brought up my brothers, the wild cards, and shit, real quick. You mentioned the wild cards. That's Hemi, Hecka, Cobra, D Clay, Roy, Big Kahuna, Baba Booey, the Cosmic Adonis, Beto, Taxi, and we represent so many crews. You have no idea, like Tag Team Crypto, Wallet Wednesday. We don't want to mention what day it is though. We got like Shark Tank, and we got who else is on this list? Damn, it's Whiskey Wednesday on a Monday. So, oh shoot, in El Chile, like we got our dudes all over the place. So from the wild cards, we're like the Wu Tang, So represent Wu Tang. So the RZA can do something over here, and the Jizza and Old Dirty Bastard all do other things, but we come back, we're still the Wu, right? So wild cards. One great thing about the Wu of the wild cards is this. Like you mentioned, if somebody comes on our space, it's not shilling. And I'll tell you why I 100% agree, and that's the beauty of the whole game. I don't think we've ever had a project, and you can go back. They're all on Spotify and YouTube and Twitters, but we don't all sit there and be like, "Yo, I love this project, don't you?" And then each one of these dudes I just listed said, "Yeah, I do." No, I mean, y'all know. I mean, I don't have to say it. Well, I do. Beto, he's a fucking beast. So, like, if a project comes on, even if he loves the project, he immediately asks a couple funny questions like, when Lambo? But then he's like, but bro. And then he'll ask some really awesome question that in the land of kumbaya and holding hands and I love you, this and everything, people are scared to ask questions because we don't want anybody to get anything less than a blue ribbon, right? So it's like, Beto's like, yo, blah, and ask something that any of us would want to ask somebody, but you might not. It's like if we're talking to each other and I got a booger in my nose, you might not mention it out of being like kind and respectful, right? But it's really better for everybody if you're like, yo, Stevie, check out that. But you don't. Okay. So in a conversation with projects, when they come on Wildcards, we have that diverse group of a squad to ask those questions. So it's like people are pointing out the booger in the nose, all those little pieces to have you question. And then, you know, many times during the show, we even mention like, yo, go look that shit up. Because there's projects that we don't, again, we're all different people. We don't agree. I don't think there's ever been a project, again, like I said, well, let's go get that. No, like it hasn't been something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I feel you. And that's actually like a super good transition into the next topic that we wanted to talk about, which is what's your favorite part about being a part of like the WildCards Twitter space specifically? Because Twitter, like every time I open the Bird app, there's 6 Twitter spaces going on at any given time. So like, what makes being a part of WildCards like special and different from anything else?
Listen. I'm going to tell you, like, I can tell you a million reasons why I love the wild cards. I think one of the biggest reasons is it started for basically little by little, this DM group started building it. I don't even know. I don't remember how specifically, but I started inviting a couple of the homies and they were inviting their homies. And it was like my goal. I'm like, yo, I'd love to have a Twitter space that's not like every other one. I'm a hyperactive dude. I got a little flavor. I like the dialogues, not the monologues. I can't sit still and just listen to somebody speak for like this long. It's like, that's why I said earlier, I'm like, yo, ask me a question or tell me to stop. Like, it doesn't have to be me doing this all freaking night, right? And there are many Twitter spaces and podcasts that aren't necessarily that, but you know, they're very informative. So someone's explaining something and asking those informative questions. And WildCards was doing this for a while, and then we're like, "Holy crap! This isn't why we were doing it. It's fun."
Yeah.
But we haven't had guests on the Twitter space in a while now because it's like it takes away from the party. So I digress. Check it. So we have this DMs.
That is like kind of why that is the only like Twitter live I jump into and I talk because I hate the fucking numbers. There's nothing I dislike more than another crypto podcast or crypto Twitter live that's just talking about how the numbers keep on going down, or that they're just being the exact same. And going back to talking about whale, the sentiment is terrible. So why would we keep on like talking about how terrible things are when there's good things happening inside the community also, which I feel like WildCards does super well at. Then our podcast also does super well at, because it does talk about it a bit. But that's because that's the main topic we can all relate to, and then we can break off to something else.
Exactly. So the WildCards DM became, you know, it wasn't the WildCards DM. It was just our homies DM became our easier way to talk once a week on a voice chat, because Discord is too hectic and all that stuff too. And it was just us going nuts. So I'm like, you know, we're all like, we wanted to get organized. So we started doing the Twitter space to hang out really with each other. So before we even had any guests ever, we were really just us having fun. And thankfully, you know, Roy, as you and I and Big T were talking about before the cameras and everything turned on, you know, Roy and the soundboard, Roy is somebody, he's a real person. But the soundboard, I think, has really become its own character on the show. Now, I've noticed some spaces people plug in a couple sounds here and there, and I love it. I love it. But like, it's kind of fun where people are arguing and like, you know, there's again sound clips from people that have appeared on the show, or 80s cartoons, or my mom. You know,
you are kind of like making fun of the radio cliche, which is like poop noises, like fart noises and shit like that
I
to
love Latinos.
That's as close
to
to a poop noise and all that too.
to kind of break up the monotony of talking about boring ass pictures of monkeys or humans or whatever it is. At the end of the
But-
day, it's so boring.
It's boring
So
when it's like
you
this.
need that flair.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I agree. But it's boring when like those monkey talks go for this long, and now you hit on like 10 things, and I got my notebooks, but I'm not taking notes because I can't do that right now. But it does become cliche and boring. But if it were little snippets and little tidbits, that's something different. A couple
Yep.
things. Okay. So wild cards, party, good time. Like, yeah, our commonality is cryptocurrency, stocks. I mean, Hemi and Hecka, every week they come at us with like the stock, their interpretation of the stock and crypto markets, But it's not just that. That's the commonality. But besides that, like I said, we've called. My mom called in on Cobra's birthday to wish him a happy birthday on this Twitter space. It's like, really? And so we might have the jump off being like, yo, what do you like? Or what's this? Or again, we do like, D Clay, shout out D Clay. We do the D Clay's 2K ADA giveaway every week. We haven't given anything out. But every week it's like, what would you do if that's and so we talk about that, but it's fun. Like if I had 2,000 free ADA, this is what I do. And again, we rotate, we have fun, and it's like a panel discussion, but it's like this. It's not as much 20 minutes of this dude than 20 minutes of that dude. And that's the reason why, like, we had a battle, shout out, it's CNFT fart. Like, okay, like she's doing a project, word, naked boobies, awesome. But like a month back.
The best thing.
Who doesn't love boobies? I mean, if you got them or not,
Nothing's-
it's for real. So like, but
Oh my god, I was about to go
Okay, listen,
go in
stop
on
talking about
talking
boobies.
about boobies. Oh my god.
Yeah. Let Stevie finish his point.
Woo. I might need to take a second.
you distracted me. But on the WildCards Twitter space, we had a battle between D Clay and Viva LaCoin. And it was fun. It was hilarious. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but at the end of that, again, I'm not a rapper. I'm like, shit, I'll come at you, Viva. And he's like, nah, you're going to take on my wife. I'm like, okay. So, a couple of fun DMs back and forth. 2 weeks later, we have a battle. Again, nothing to do with NFTs or Cardano. This me versus this gal yelled at each other in rhyme for a good 15 minutes in total. And it was freaking hilarious. Not 1 minute was somebody probably looking at their phone like, yo, I wonder what the price of Cardano is right now. Or, oh, shit, I hope I sold my blase blah. No, they were like, oh, shit, she said this about him. And, again, the only reason why they probably came was they like Cardano or NFTs or crypto or whatever. But they stay because we're not talking about that forever. We're busting each other's balls. Beto fucking hates on me, and I love that dude. We're homies. But we yell at each other. We all yell at each other and disrespect one another. Roy all day is muting everybody up. Like, Hemi won't stop sliding in DMs. Like, it's insane what happens up in there. And again, and I say this honestly every week, it's like my therapy, right? Like, after a long week, I don't go out to the bar. I'm not that cool anymore. I don't go out dancing. I kick it in this little cave right up in here and my, hang, but I'm hanging with just a squad. And if nobody showed up, I'd be cool with that. I mean, please, if you want to come, show up. It's great. But I mean, like, if it's just us, if it's just the WildCards crew, I look at it like, yo, this is my Friday night. I'm going to laugh my ass off. And the fact that other people tap in and have a good time, it usually has nothing to do with NFTs. I mean, Cobra, like there's a drop for Cobra from like, Cobra Commander and from like Serpentor, right? And it's like out of nowhere, that's something. Like people like DM him or like tweet at him like la 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 la, because that's like a nickname of his from the show, and it's so obscure and silly, but it's freaking hilarious. It has nothing to do with pictures of this and pictures of that. I mean, again, we all talk about that, whether it's public or in the DMs, and it's great for information and helping the jump off. But I mean, the wild cards, I feel like we represent more like a party. You know, like really, it's, dude, if you're not like the core 12, you're part of the extra pile of people, and we're blessed that, you know, that basically show up every week and just hang out, and sometimes tap in, sometimes won't come up when I'm yelling at them to grab the mic. And it's all right though, because like it's really like it has become a fun just party, and we just so happen to have crypto or NFTs, you know?
Yeah. That kind of leads us more so off of the topic of talking about crypto, talking about
I love this. You're like, slide to this. This is a word.
Mitch loves it, man. He loves it.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it, man. But something that I know about you, something that most of the people that tune into WildCards is that you used to be a big time music producer, big time, massive, biggest.
Billboard. He was on the billboards.
So going off of that, what do you think was the best decade for music?
You can't ask me that because there's no best decade.
Yes,
to me,
yes, we can, man.
Well, listen, again, like, I was raised on music. I know we all say that, and I know we all believe that, and everybody has their own story. But, like, that was my incentive as a kid. I was earning records, you know, from the store. And what records are these big vinyl discs, like this big, that spin in a circle, and there's a needle on it. And eventually they became cool, so you can cut them and do some other stuff. But I was getting, like, really, like, that's what was available. Like, when I say I got, like, the first Run DMC album, it's because they didn't have the tape, they didn't have the CD, they didn't have the MP Frizzle. I had the vinyl. So, that being said, music and my dad had a really close relationship. Like, when he was a kid, the first, like, $1 or $2 he made, he ran to the record store and snatched up records, you know? So, when you say best decade, y'all can go fuck yourself. Because peep game, you got like the 50s, man. Like, that's like the intro of like the beginning of where Motown's going to start happening, and the roots right there. So they got like all of Motown popping all the way through the 60s, and all that soul music, and even Elvis like that, gangsta all together. And like then the hippies came in. I'm cool with them hippies. So that era from like, you know, the redneck hippies to the hippie dippies doing, you know, swimming around in the sky. Like I went to a Grateful Dead concert at 5. I saw David Bowie, you know, but you know, you named the concert. I potentially seen them before they passed, and I'm talking about even like the Cadillacs from the 1950s. I wasn't alive back then, but like,
sure,
yeah, they were
man,
still
back
were
when Bitcoin wasn't even born. Sure, man, sure.
Well, back before Bitcoin wasn't even born, shit, I saw those guys. Like, there was like free concerts when I was a kid, the oldies, and that's when the oldies were the 50s and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
And I was growing up in the 80s, so like, do I love the 80s? For what it got us, but I don't love the 80s. I mean, you know, except for I could see you in one of those
80s,
flock
man.
of seagulls hairdos. But I mean, my heyday, if there was such a thing, and I was reminded of this a couple days ago when some life shit happened. 90s and to the turn of the 2000, shit. Like, y'all are like, yay, Snoop's doing this. Yo, I saw Snoop in 9 Drizzy. Like, I saw him in 1993. Where were you guys in 1993? Tell me. What were you doing in 93?
I wasn't born. we weren't born. I know he was born after me, so we weren't born.
And in 93, I saw Snoop. You know what I mean? Like, I was seeing those shows. I was seeing even punk shows. I was going to, you know, Minor Threat shows and all these, like, ska and, like, Fugazi, all that shit. But, which, again, great era. I still listen to that. But 90s hip hop, because it brought back a lot of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, like those types of rhythms and all that. Love it. That's when I was making most of my music. Was late '90s to the turn, and I still make music to some degree. Some would say that I might have made the soundtrack, so it's all publishing is all good for the WildCards show, because I'm like, yo, if we're going to be playing it all the time, we're going to put it on YouTube. They might take it down if we don't own it. So I threw together something quick like that, you know.
With what you just talked about, you named the biggest artists during all of these decades, which makes sense.
No, I didn't. I skipped Curtis Mayfield, like, and James Brown. Like, don't get me started. Like, come on.
But what I mean by that is, like, these people were the best of the best during this decade, right? So of course they were much better.
Kind of. Because my introduction in the music scene, and yeah, you're full of shit. I'm not this big time this and that, but I've been around and done a bunch of this and that. Hold on. So in the mid to late '90s is when I really got my chops busy, and that was really starting in like the underground music scene. I mean, we did national tours and global music promotion, and that was for underground rap groups and reggae groups and all that kind of stuff, you know. So like in the late '90s, mid to late '90s, all the homies from Boston were hopping in a van and driving out to Ohio for this rap battle that Eminem used to go to. You know what I mean? Called Scribble Jam. It's not happening anymore. But so that underground, there's a lot of connection between that, crypto, NFTs, and all that. But the underground scene also, you know, broke out into the big time scene. Like when I mentioned Wu-Tang, y'all know about them. But I was in neighborhoods where we were getting tapes from their boys, handing tapes out. Like yeah. It's amazing that nowadays everybody knows Wu, or everybody knows, like, again, I'm not like name drop, but it's so interesting, like, that a lot of people know these underground rappers, and then some of them had hits. So everybody knows those guys, but a lot of the underground was my flavor in the '90s.
So because he doesn't want to answer the question, Tyler,
I didn't answer.
What do you think is the best and the worst decade for music?
Man, I mean, I feel like this is hard to say because I was born in the late '90s, so like I feel like I missed the train on like the '90s, which was like a huge music time. But I will say that I grew up in like a really like eclectic household. So my parents split when I was like one, like when I was a baby. So like that was my whole life, like growing up. So my dad actually played in a band with like some of his cousins and friends in the '80s. They did like local concerts, stuff like that, in a rock band in the '80s. So I grew up in a lot of like '70s, '80s rock. And then my mom,
awesome.
she had a lot of really good friends when I was a kid from the Bahamas. They listened to a lot of like reggae music. So I grew up on that when I was over at my mom's house. Then, you know, my mom got remarried, kind of got married into some other types of music. And then, you know, myself, I'm like really into, you know, rap and hip hop as well, like as I grew up. So I feel like I kind of touched on a lot of points just because like the way I grew up. But like I definitely do feel like I missed kind of like the boat of the '90s, which was such like a big music scene.
You know, look, let me tell you something, Big T. First of all, I love every moment of what you just said, man. Like, your dad was in a band. Like, come on, like if it was '70s and '80s, tell me, like, what was the outfit he was rocking when he was doing that? All right, he's like, yo, thanks for that drink, sweetheart. Okay, word.
Yeah, that's literally what I was doing. Yeah. What do you mean, like the outfit? Like what he was wearing?
Yeah, like, do you remember, like, if he was doing shows in the '80s, what was he doing? Like, rocking, like, jeans and a tee? Was he, like, leather pants and, like, big hair?
Oh, yeah. Dad, he was definitely, like long hair with the stash, had, like, you know, some sort of, like, graphic tee, like, whether it be, like, AC/DC with, like, the fucked up jeans, you know, whatever. Like, him and his brother, they both played in the band. They had, like a what do you call, like a black light in their room, you know, with all like the posters and shit. Like they were like, you know, like some '80s like rock heads, you know.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So that's how I grew up. Like we grew up listening to like tapes in the car of like my dad's music, like covers, like shit like that. So yeah, that was like a kind of a big influence on my life.
You made a silly
So-
point or an interesting point just because you're like, yo, I miss the heyday of the 90s. I'm assuming at this point hearing you say that every generation says that, okay? Because, like, you know, I was just hanging with some homies I haven't seen for 25 years, legit. Like, or no, 27 years, okay, like since high school or something. And, yo, when we were in high school, we were living it up, like graduating in the early 90s. And I was loving hip-hop and all that, but shit, we were always like, yo, wouldn't it be great if we were from the 70s? Yo, like the movie Dazed and Confused was out. We all love muscle cars. I mean, you name it,
Yeah.
like every, like, late 60s, 70s bands, that's what we listened to. Like, I got books by Jim Morrison because I was loving that and still recognize that, you know? But, you know, so I guess every generation misses something. But I guess, you know, shit, I mean, one of my music teachers back in college was Yusef Lateef, rest in peace. But he was like a jazz musician from like the 50s and 60s. It's like, again, I'd be like, yo, I wish I was then. So I think we always miss or wish we had that era prior to ours, you know?
Yeah.
But you're lucky because shit, rap music right now, it brings back rap from the 90s and it brings back a lot of stuff from every era at this point.
You kind of see that with all the music, like with the Weeknd, he brought back like those 80s synths. And
Hell yeah, Michael Jackson style.
Now every song hits got a 80s synth, so we are like waiting for something new. But with me, so I was barely born in the 90s, born in 1999, but I grew up on like 70s, 80s rock, 80s like pop. So I'd say for music, kind of back into the late 70s, like through maybe the 80s. Like that was when music was its best because it got so commercialized. With that, so there were so many like pop bands coming out, whether that be like boy bands or whether that be like Duran or whether that be like hard rock, metal, fucking like pop rock. What's up?
I was gonna let the people know, if you haven't already, and I apologize that I haven't dissected all of your shows here from the Degen report. Much respect to the Degen report. Have you talked about your other life within pop music, but a very specific kind of pop music?
Yeah, he's mentioned K-pop a few times. He's mentioned K-pop a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, he's mentioned it.
But
Okay, just making sure. I was sitting there like
maybe a couple times, but most of
maybe a couple. You bet all the time.
most of K-pop comes back to that like 90s, 80s type of pop music because back in the maybe early 2000s, that's when they kind of got that 70s, 80s pop sound, and then with the way it's been developing, and now all of that pop music that doesn't sound like Justin Timberlake or Pharrell Williams, where it's like, ooh, I'm so happy, which we kind of do see in now with like BTS. But go back and
do not hate on JT. JT.
That's right.
Dude,
JT's like that. JT's like that.
And wasn't he in the same band as Cobra? Like, I gotta love JT. Like, I think they used to dance together for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, JT makes hits. I ain't even gonna lie. JT makes hits.
But Mitch, I agree with you. It was interesting. Netflix, what's that show? Stranger Things. How long Stranger Things been around? Y'all know? How long has it been?
Like,
I don't know.
5 years. 5, 6 years, yeah.
Okay, 5, 6 years. And their soundtrack has been breathing a new life as well into that era and genre of music. I forget what the name of the artist is, but she had some hit in like 1980 something or other. Again, I was already cool by the 80s. and that single was like again a number one hit again thanks to that show, and again was almost like part of this, like, I feel, I'm not like, I don't know, but like a part of this revival of like that 80s and like that synth sound. But again, understand that was a revival of what? Taste of the 70s and disco, and right, like every era had a taste of the other before, but with maybe a different beat or rhythm, or you know what I'm saying. And I know you love the guy who sings last night I had the strangest dream. You love that song. Ain't nothing but a break on my style. That's your jam. I know it. Google that.
Ain't
If you don't
nobody
know
gonna
it.
me down.
Well, I feel like
I got to keep on moving.
I feel like Mitch. I feel like Mitch.
You grow a mustache, you're in there.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
Mitch, I feel like you. Well, I'm
Too
gonna say
bad
this
I
point.
can't.
I'm gonna say this point, and then we should keep it pushing. But I think that Mitch, I feel like you get a lot of like you get a sense of like what a lot of like the radio hits are, because you are like you do Uber, so like you just turn the radio on, you know what I mean? Like listen to some shit.
Y'all, no.
I couldn't tell you the last time I listened to the radio. Like I listen to shit on my phone, but like I don't listen to the radio. So I feel like it's kind of like a lost thing.
So down below, I will publish the list of songs that I go through every time, and you will hear none of those on the goddamn radio. So how fucking dare you say, oh, he loves that sugar pop? Fuck that shit. I want my passengers to be bawling their eyes out by the time they get out of my car.
Because when we did the episode with the fairies, you said you like sad music. That was your favorite genre. He loves sad music.
So
okay,
but,
look, go ahead. I don't mean to be that dude.
But that's because I'm getting intimate with my passengers. So
all right, well, pause.
Tell me about your whole life, and then that there's like sad and music going on in the background. So
you're soundtracking them. Like
my
you're like
dad
Roy.
left me. Then by the end of the Uber, they give me like $30 worth of tips because I just gave them a whole therapy session for like $10.
All right. Speaking of that, I didn't plug mental health with Sean and Steve. There's a night where Sean, my homie Sean and I, we do a Twitter space about mental health, and we're not therapists or anything of the sort. I guess to some degree potentially, but not like by licensure, I guess. But we have this forum where we all just kind of kick it and honestly, just because you mentioned therapy, talk about all that shit. So real quick, before we move on, I don't mean to hold us up, but two things. Number one, Big T, how do you feel about your boy Mitch driving for Uber? Because the way you said it, and Mitch, I don't know if I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to start some shit right now, but I think I am. I'm starting some shit. You're like,
start it. Let's do it. That's what we're here. That's what we're here for. Let's do it.
So like, how do you feel about him driving an Uber? Like, do you not respect that? Are you like, yo, I get to work from my house. I just told you I'm working from my house. I got air conditioning. I don't go outside and shit.
No.
And you got Mitch driving
it's
around.
not even.
So like, like you maybe got a salary.
What's up, Big T?
Nah. So it wasn't even. It wasn't
me,
even
dude.
trying to.
Like,
So I wasn't even trying to come off cross. I wasn't even trying to come off cross like in my tone. It's kind of like a joke between. It's kind of like a joke between Mitch and I, because he will always like joke that I'm like America's like corporate shill. Like I work a 9 to 5, get a salary job, work from home. I got like 5 computer monitors, always on my desk all day. And Mitch is always talking about like how he hates. Yeah, like Mitch is always like, I hate that shit. So we just go back and forth. He'll be like, he'll call my phone and I'll be like, hey, like I'm in a meeting right now. He's like, of course you are, you fucking corporate bitch, And like it's kind of like a joke between the two of us. That's what I was kind of playing on. It's kind of like a joke between the two of us.
Okay, so I got a split screen here of you guys. Like, on your side, Big T, it's like that scene from the Spider-Man movie where the guy's like spinning in his chair and he's like, guy in the chair.
yeah, that's me.
Around surrounded by computers. And then I got our boy Mitch on the other screen. He's the what's the name of that movie with Jason Statham, and he's just driving people, delivering stuff. The Transporter. So you got
the Transporter. I haven't seen that in a long time. Fuck, that's a good one.
Mitch, Stutter boy, you are Jason Statham the transporter. So before we move
I'm
to the next
Spider-Man.
thing, you're talking about
That's
eras of
the
music.
best
You're like,
compliment.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Find me something pretty for my birthday. So before we move off
Got
the
it.
music thing, real quick, you're talking about eras of music, blah, blah, blah. Like you listen to the radio. You're in the world of digital land over there, like on computers. You can type in any song you've ever heard and hear it. What are your top, quick, don't think about it, your top 3 go-to songs that are usually like a button away?
So I can't say this song because it's got a super weird name, but I will
Say it anyways,
find
it doesn't
So,
matter.
Big T, you could go first. So this song is called Angro Shura by Keshi. We'll drop it down below, and then number 2 is a song also by Keshi called Limbo. Then the third song is called 13 by Laney.
Okay.
Big T.
Okay.
I
go.
get you love Keshi. Go
Okay.
ahead, Big T. Top
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
you
So
push
I'm-
a button and they're going to play, basically.
Yeah. So I'm a big Mac Miller guy. So I would say something like 2009 by Mac. I think that's fire. R.I.P. Mac, obviously. And then I mean, I kind of dabble in anything in the 80s, man. Anything that's like the I think the Eagles might be kind of like late 70s and the 80s. Bruce Springsteen.
Oh.
Any like song that you can play from them, like I probably know the words. Like so, if I shuffle through my phone, it's probably a song from one of them. From like those couple of bands from the 80s, the bigger bands. And then I don't know, like I listen to a lot of like G Herbo, like a lot of Chicago-based like rap music. So like G Herbo, Polo
right.
G. So not like necessarily a song, but like I listen to every album they've ever put out. So like if you shuffle the phone, it'll probably land on one of their albums, and I know the song. But yeah, that's kind of like where I go to. I kind of like Mac type music, and then like 80s rock,
what's
and
up.
I'll jump over to like drill type rap. So it's kind of like all over the place a little bit for me. But I think that, like I said, I kind of attribute that to the way I was brought up. It was kind of like all over the place, like music wise, from household to household as well. So that's just kind of me.
Hell yeah.
And
But yeah,
as
R.I.P.
for
Mac.
Me?
you, man,
Is that you pointing to me? Am I over there? Is that where I am?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
you're
you are over.
this way.
You're over there.
Okay, because you're like right here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in my car, like I have like the same like songs I scroll through almost every day, like either on my way to or coming back from work. So basically, I'll be honest with you. To be honest, this is just me. I'm just being honest. I always listen to "Ain't No Love," "Heart of the City," Jay-Z featuring Jaguar Wright, the MTV Unplugged version. I always listen to "In the Dark" by Toots and the Maytals. I'm a big reggae fan now. Obviously, respect to Bob and everybody, but there's like hundred. I'm really into the rocksteady era of reggae. So like 50s, 60s, 70s era dudes. So like Toots, even back then, was killing it. Shit, and what else is on there? Waiting Room, Fugazi. Boom. Those are my 3 that literally, if you get in my truck right now, I got like my old iPod plugged in, like through the aux thing.
Yeah.
And that's immediately what shows up when I turn on my car. One of those 3 is going to happen.
Yeah.
Next
Perfect.
question. Let's move to the next segment. Go.
So, kind of going off of that, who is the most famous person that you've ever met?
Really? Really? Do I like?
Yeah.
I don't think I've even spoken to nobody asked me that question, dude. Really?
That's what.
Have I
hey,
met
that's
or no?
That's what we do it.
Okay, we'll just say met. We'll say met, and I'm just gonna ramble.
We'll say
random
Met,
names
not
that I've
no,
met.
like not your homeboys with them, but like Met.
Okay, so I just okay.
Did I say a no?
Well, no, I was
don't
just
know.
asking. You said met.
Yeah, he
You
was
said
asking
met.
to clarify
Yeah,
because
so
if you
cool.
said Met, like or like
Met.
friends, just Met. You like Met.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, historically, back in the day when I was like 20-something, I was in a bar in either West Palm or Palm Beach, and I got to have some drinks with like all the superstars of the 80s were in this bar. It was ridiculous. So like, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Robin Williams were there specifically
Oh,
that I got
shit.
to literally shoulder brush. But again, that was 20-something years ago, and I don't think I had my fantastic confidence as I do at this point. everybody you
Yeah.
meet along the way gives you a little slice of something, you know. So like at that point, I was on my way to being this fantastic person you see right now. After that, I don't even know, don't know. Rest in peace, DMX. I used to hang with him a little bit, especially on vacation in St. Martin, like in the early '90s. You know, we did some shows with like the Wu, you know, Wu-Tang and all those guys. Met all those guys, whatever. One of the most fun people I met, I don't even remember his real name, but from The Sopranos, Big Pussy. It was just cool calling him Big Pussy. Like, we were at like the Boston Music Awards, like maybe 15, 20 years ago or something, with one of the groups I was working with at the time. Again, we're going to keep moving on that. But I was sitting next to Big Pussy. So I sit down, I'm like, yo, that's Big Pussy. I'm like, yo, Sonny, Big Pussy. And he's like, yo, it's Big Pussy. And it was just hilarious because, like, we're kids, you know, we're like early 20s, so excited to be at this, like, ceremony. And we're just, again, a bunch of knucklehead thugs just yelling Big Pussy. And again, that's one of the reasons why we love the wild cards. Like, we just act like children once in a while. Like, that was a hilarious. That was better than a fart joke, just yelling the word Big Pussy. And the guy next to us is laughing like, yeah, it's me, Big Pussy. And it was just
that's
like,
so funny.
Awesome. But yeah, like, I guess that's, you know, I can think, luckily in the music biz, I got to meet a whole bunch of cool people, you know what I mean? A rapper that I respect a whole bunch, that I got to hang out with a little bit one night was like Talib Kweli. Like, it was just like some like intelligent rapper like that. You know, shit, I'm old, so it's not as cool if I name drop anyways. So I'm like, yo, back in the day, Eve was all over your boy when I had a shaved head and a shaved face. But you're like, who the hell is she? And you're like, whatever. So a bunch of random shit like that with your boy over the past couple decades, you know?
Yeah.
Big T, have you ever met somebody famous?
Yeah. Wait, so this is super random. I need to like make one little quick statement, then we'll jump into that. So Stevie, are you from Boston, or you like the Boston area?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, cool. So like after I get married next month, me and my fiance, we're taking a road trip up the East Coast to Maine because I'm in North Carolina. We're actually stopping in Boston for like 2 days, so I need to hit you in the DMs to see like what's cool to do, what's not cool to do. I'm not trying to waste my time while I'm there, so I'm gonna hit you up after that. I'm gonna make a note real quick.
Yo, I'm gonna hook it up, especially if you're going to Maine, because like if you're going up through Boston, the bean Boston.
Yeah.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Obviously, like even like, you know, I moved up north. I'm in the state above it. I'm in New Hampshire right now, but I still rep Boston. Like 90% of my life, that was where I was, right? But but from the bean to New Hampshire to Maine, there's a lot of spots. That's fantastic. So I'll bless you with that.
I'll DM you.
I don't have crypto or NFT alpha. I don't have the other shit.
Yeah, I'll get the alpha. Yeah, I'll get the alpha. Yeah. So back to the question, who's the most famous person I ever met? So actually going off of what I was saying about like my music preferences, I actually bumped into Mac Miller in New York City back in like 2016. I was there for like a trip my senior year of high school, 2015, 2016, something like that. I bumped into him, like we were crossing the crosswalk. Everyone was like turning shoulders. I was like, who the fuck is that? And they were like, dude, that's Mac Miller. And like, you wouldn't have picked him out. Buddy had like the hoodie on, like some cargo pants. Like you wouldn't have picked him out like if you saw him crossing the crosswalk. So we everyone like dapped him up, and that was cool. RIP to Mac. And then I actually went to
big time. That's an amazing meet, and he blends. Like again,
that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have never knew.
Like any rap show you ever been to, like everybody's wearing a hoodie and whatever, and so it's like everybody as you're walking through, we all look the exact same, you know. So good for you. That's good.
Yeah, and then I mean, I feel like I'm just keeping it on I feel like I'm keeping it on like the music train just a little further. But I also went to a Juice WRLD concert with YB and Cordae opening like a couple of years ago. My cousin, or his cousin, his blood cousin, his first cousin, was actually like my best friend all through high school. So we went out there together. So got to like hang out with them for a little bit, and like the tour bus and shit. Because obviously I'm with the cousins, like we're hanging out. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, that's like what comes to mind recently. Maybe when I was a kid, I met somebody at something, but that's what comes to mind like recently. All right, Mitch, let me hear it. Let me hear the K-pop meetup.
No,
I'm
no.
fucking
He
with you.
saw-
I'm fucking with
He
I'm
saw,
fucking
he
with
saw
you.
RM.
I have been-
met RM from my
So
favorite K-pop bands.
so I have been practicing my Korean for so long. No, fuck no.
You're
I've
glowing right
never
now.
been.
You're glowing.
No, I've never been to a K-pop concert. Not saying I won't ever, but
Yeah.
Bullshit.
back when I was a sophomore in high school, I was super good buddies with the youngest Jonas brother.
Which one is that? There's
Which-
like 3 of them, right?
So there's 3 of them that are in
I know
the
Nick.
band.
I know the Nick one. That's it. I don't know
There's-
the other ones.
There's Kevin, Joe, Nick. Then there's a younger brother that was like 9 years old when they made the band named Frankie.
Bergstrom. Oh,
Good try.
Frankie, otherwise known as Bertram. But like, so, which makes sense because everybody knows every other brother but him because he is kind of the unfamous Jonas brother. But
he's the one they fed
That
fish
must
heads
that
in the
must
attic.
suck. I feel like that would suck. But continue.
Yeah.
but
All the other
but
brothers are like, "Yo, Bergstrom, go wash our laundry." You know what I mean? Yo,
Yeah,
Bergstrom,
go wash the
scrub
Cadillac
those-
outside. Like we gotta go.
with that
Poor
he ended up being in Ponyo. Like he was in the English version of Ponyo, the Ghibli movie. So he made like tens of thousands of dollars at the age of like 9.
And here I am working a 9 to 5, fucking
because of
barely
that.
getting by.
See?
It's some bullshit.
You just got to be a Jonas brother. But one of the funniest like things I remember from being that age is the first time I ever got like drunk was when I was at the Jonas Brothers house. And
Yeah, that's sick. That's actually pretty sick. You were at their house?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the youngest Jonas brother, during one part of the night, he took off everything, but he had a tube sock covering his penis.
Socks on Cox. That's a Red Hot Chili Peppers
Socks-
album, right? Come on.
Socks on cocks. But other than that, one of my other friends became a meme, like a massive meme. I'll post that down below, or I'll post it there. But he had the "Be Gone" thought meme. That was my buddy. What else? One of my high school friends is on Broadway, not exactly famous, but getting there. Who else? Yeah, that's kind of all. But the youngest Jonas brother is something that whenever I go on a date, that is like number
That's your
2.
go-to. That's
Yeah.
your go-to.
First I tell them my name, and then I say, "Have you heard of the Jonas brothers?"
Yeah, you're in the
Well,
presence of a friend of the
they're-
Jonas Brothers. Like that's crazy, right?
They're kind of my buddies, but
Yeah.
but like I feel bad because he's kind of one of those buddies that you were super close with back then, but you haven't talked to them in 10 years. So
Yo, don't
Yeah.
get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. For real, that just hit my heartstrings because, like, honestly, last weekend I hung out with my crew I haven't seen in 27 years. It was just some weird ass shit. So, word. And shout out to Bergstrom Jonas. I'm going to start Googling that dude and
Poor
seeing what he's
guy.
all about.
Yeah, by the
Poor
hashtag. And we're gonna
Bergstrom
get him
Jonas.
trending Bertram Jonas.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Let's get him a job besides just being in a movie about a cartoon fish, right? Is that Ponyo? Is that what you said?
yeah, so that
Wasn't
is Pawnee.
Matt Damon? Matt Damon was from that in that motherfucker. Another Boston.
Was
represent.
Matt
Yeah,
Damon?
Matt Damon is like if you see a movie that's based in Boston, 1 out of 5 times Matt Damon's playing one of the characters. Like that's a fact.
For real, but I think Matt Damon was the voice in Ponyo. I got no Google
my
buttons
God.
close to me. Google that, figure it out, see if I'm full of shit. I probably am full of shit.
Matt-
So check it out.
Matt Damon played Koichi. And Ponyo.
That's
Man,
crazy.
Just saying.
he peaked during Ponyo. But
Anyways, I'm gonna keep it
let's-
pushing. Yeah, I'm gonna move it on because this was a question. And by the way, we have like a Google Doc every week of the questions or topics that we want to talk about, and we go kind of back and forth.
Shit.
Like Mitch will type something, I type
Should I have
something.
read this shit before?
No.
No.
It's for Mitch and I. But Mitch will literally, he'll be like, all right, do the questions or the topics. I'll do the topics. I'll open the document the day of, and they're all different. So I opened it this morning, and this one says, don't get rid of this one without talking to Mitch. So I know he's very
All right.
excited about this topic. So I mean, I don't want to be the
You're
one
very
asking,
excited
but
about it.
I don't wanna-
Ready? Well, hold on.
Tyler,
Wait a second, gentlemen. So Tyler's all like giggling, like he doesn't want to say it. His voice just went up like 3. He's like, I don't want to talk
It's
about
because
it.
it's
And then
it's
you got
because
Mitch's bright. Look at his smile on his face right now.
It's-
He's like, oh shit, is he gonna do it? This
It's
is
because Mitch.
freaking
Do
me
it,
out right
pussy.
now.
Goes.
Do it.
It's because Mitch. Every time he wants to do a question, it always goes to something super suspect. Like I do all the topics, and then Mitch will add 2 topics, and they're always suspect every time. So I'm gonna just ask it so he can answer first, since it's his topic. But this one is. Wait, were you gonna say something?
no, go on.
Okay. This one says, as a heterosexual male, heterosexual is 2 words, by the way, hetero space sexual. Man, what is something that
Just
you have
so people
What
know.
is something that you have done that others might say, damn, that's kind of gay? So this is
Tyler?
Mitch's topic. No, Tyler, I don't go first. This is your topic. I'm letting you take the lead here, buddy.
Well,
Listen,
shouldn't
I'm going
we?
to tell you something. Look, can I tell you something? Hold on a second. Mitch, mute up my boy for 1 second. Big T, this is between you and me. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got you.
Get your ass. Tell him to get his ass back. I'm just busting his fucking
He'll come
balls.
back. He'll come back in a
Right away.
second. No, he'll come back in a second. He probably had to take a piss. He gets up every episode to pee. He'll be all right. He'll come back.
Well, I'm waiting for him because I'm telling you, like, when I said that, I was actually being ironic. I wanted him to stay and hear what I was going to say. But he ran away.
He'll come back. He'll come back in 30 seconds. But yeah, you should. For everybody that's listening, you should see our Google Doc because it's literally like different colors. Mitch typed some of the questions in bold. Oh, he's back. Here we go.
Tyler, the people are waiting for you to answer the question.
Stevie's talking.
No, I'm not, but I will. So the reason why I said go away or don't listen, I was being ironic because I wanted you to hear this. I knew, I had a feeling, and it's all good. People are great. Everybody's got their own thing. I knew this question of sorts was going to come at me from you. I really did. I'm not going to show you the DMs that I had with somebody. But
Well,
I knew something like this was going to happen.
So who snitched on us?
It wasn't me, but I will say to anyone that's listening at the moment, if there's any suspect question, 95% of the time it's from Mitch. Mitch inserts like a real sus question every episode.
Those tend to be the most fun and
They are the kind of the most funny,
the most entertaining. Like when we talked about beating up bald eagles and like eating tomatoes.
Or how you had sex in a public restroom at a rest stop or something, or a public park. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You just went all over the place. Did you eat the eagles after you beat the eagles? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite bits.
In
In the 9 episodes, it's on the Max episode. You can like scroll through and you see like the little timestamps. That shit is so funny. We talked about what's the
Max
biggest
from
animal.
Universe 25.
Yeah, Max 25. Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
you got to go back and watch that
himself,
one. That's one of my
beast.
favorites. Yeah,
Word,
that
I'm
was a
definitely
good
gonna do
episode.
that.
But Mitch, I'm letting you
So
take it away.
answer the
brother.
question.
No,
actually,
Mitch,
you know what?
this is
We
you,
can
brother.
go to the next question. We can go to the next
No,
question.
no,
if
no,
you're not
no,
comfortable
no.
with that answer.
No, this is gonna be the thumbnail, guys. This.
Can you put my
needs
face
to
on
be
it?
The thumbnail.
All right, there you go.
Got it. So
Did you really just do something?
So
I'm new to this video shit.
He'll rewatch it and
So-
clip it.
yeah, gotcha. But because when I was growing up, I did acting. I did theater. And like there'd be fake kisses like all the time going on with the girls and guys, with guys and guys, with girls and girls, right? So even if gay people saw us doing this, they'd be like, "Holy shit, those people are so gay." But my
Which
buddies
disclaimer?
and I,
We love all kinds of people. No matter
Yeah.
no matter who you love. So just disclaimer.
That's what I
before
just
we get
said. I
into this.
said that.
Yeah.
I love everybody
Just
who
to
loves
reiterate,
everybody.
yeah, we
Doesn't
love
matter
everybody.
what you're doing over somewhere else. That's what you do. You.
And not my
Or
business. That's
apparently,
right.
if you're Mitch, you do everything.
Probably. which
Anyways,
I
Mitch.
do everything, and because Mama didn't raise no bitch. But kind of going back to that, me and my like group of like probably 3 or 4 buddies would just go over to each other, like grab each other's faces and go. And so we'd go from person to person to person, and we'd be like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck is going on, man?" Like guys do, and then we'd go over and go, like so. That's something that me and the boys used to do. That some people might see as being a little bit sus, maybe even a tad bit homosexual, but like it's the same thing as a theater kiss, so it's like not a big deal. It's
Well, I
just
mean-
with the homies.
Yeah, just kissing the
Can I ask
homies
you
like
a
everybody
follow-up
does.
question? Can I ask you a
Follow-up
follow-up
answer?
question? I don't want to know this. This is what would be called a rhetorical question, perhaps. But like so, it's like you said, it's like a theater kiss. I don't want to know this, but is there like a theater bang that is just like you're like, wow, we're gonna bang, but it's just like a theater bang, so it's not really what you think it is.
Well, most of the girls that do theater, they are down to bang, so it didn't need to be a theater bang.
Okay, so listen, if you said
Could
that and
just
you've
be
been
a
having
bang
a
bang.
tough time getting a lady friend, I think that you got to join the theater again because you just announced that theater ladies are down to bang.
Yeah,
I didn't
the theater
say
for
that public.
adults.
This is he, not me.
Hey,
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's on you. Go join the theater.
They are open to singing, and they're open to dancing, and maybe acting. And they're open to guys. They're also open to girls. Not a big issue, but
Okay.
but some people that might have saw me and the smooching like one after another might see that and be like, damn, that's kind of gay.
Okay, now listen, Big T. I want to hear your answer to this question.
I mean, I'm over
Again,
here.
this-
So,
we're-
like I
this is-
said,
we're
these
being
things
open,
get
we're being
edited in.
honest.
Yeah, these things get edited in like morning of. So I've been working also trying to think of a good answer for this. I don't know if I actually really have a great answer for this. I would say that like the one answer I could think of is that I've talked about this in like my pot. So this might be like sus in hella ways. Maybe not just I don't know. This might be hella sus in a lot of ways, but. So I've talked about on a lot of the pods. I have a big family. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers. So there's 6 of us. You know what I mean?
By the
So
way,
we have
y'all just see somebody come in my room right here?
No.
Was that interesting or awkward a moment ago? I'm cool with it.
No,
No.
Okay.
not at all.
I
Tyler,
just had to
get-
ask for later.
You're good.
Didn't
Tyler,
mean to interrupt you.
Oh, so yeah, so it might be I have a big family, a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters. So we growing up, we would go to like the beach and shit, like as a family, all 6 of us, parents, grandparents, cousins, hella of us. So I mean, even into middle school, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to not waste time, you know what I mean? I've always been a person, like, I don't like to waste my time. So, you know, if we have been out the beach all day, you know, I'm trying to shower, but, like, it's hella like, dude, there's a lot of us, bro. So, me and the brothers, bro, we just get in the shower together, all three of us, bro. Like, I mean, and this is probably until I was in, like, eighth grade. You know what I mean? But, I mean, it wasn't weird, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to cut out some time, because it's hella people to wait for.
Would you guys like rub soap on each other's
No,
backs?
no,
And
that's what I'm
maybe
saying.
Give
That's what I'm
like
saying.
shower Andes.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that was probably like the best answer I could think of. It's just like, I mean, you know, I'm trying to cut on some time, save some time. It's, you know, I'm not trying to stand outside in the heat all day.
Not
so I'm just gonna
only is
shower with a
that
bunch
gay.
of dudes. The guy says.
Not even. I mean, it's my brothers though.
Okay. Yeah,
Which
okay. See,
which
come
means
on,
first
Mitch,
first
leave the man alone.
Yeah, it's my brothers.
It is gay incest. Gay incest. So that's even more sus than kissing
Big T.
the homies.
Big T, I gotta tell you something right now. Again, I knew this guy was gonna take a topic.
It's always.
And just like we were saying at the beginning of this interview, I'm like, yo, I really like it when like it's more of a dialogue than a monologue, and blah blah blah. And now this guy chose this topic to just perpetuate itself, and I knew it. I knew
Bro.
it would happen.
We too are the wild cards.
Yes,
Things
indeed you are.
things get weird in here. Things get odd, but
I think that's a better way to put
the
it. I knew
vibes
shit
are
would get
always
weird.
there. The
I think that's
vibes
what I
are
meant.
always there.
Yeah, and I think that's what I meant. I think better way. Not that I knew it that you'd say anything this specific, but I knew shit would get weird. I think that's the moral of the story on that.
So I feel like you're trying to avoid telling us the things you've done that people might see and say, that's kind of gay.
Okay, well, again, much love to everybody. I celebrate diversity. I'm a
Same.
teacher,
That's right.
and I certainly do practice what I preach in regard to that, both with the kids and with the adults. To each their own. That being said, you guys like wrote it and thought about it. Now here I'm thinking like, wow, like I have like a few moments to think about what's the most thing I've ever, and I'm thinking, I have no idea. I guess, and it's funny because I really have no idea. Like I'm just thinking, have I said something like I love you? Like, but I say I love you to my dudes all the time.
So have you ever slept in the same bed as them, and then something happened, and then you two just began cuddling, or
What the fuck?
Well,
Sure.
no. I'll tell you what I think really happened. Okay. Listen, what year were you guys born in?
1999?
98.
And where were you guys born?
The South, baby.
North Carolina and
Where?
Texas. Yeehaw.
Kakalaka
I'm from
in
North
Texas?
Carolina. He's from Texas, yeah. North
All right.
Carolina, though.
So-
Not to be confused with South Carolina. Because North Carolina is
they're
way
two
better
totally
than the
different.
South. Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's what you tell me. So I guess the thing that would be considered the gayest thing I've ever done is in those particular years. I was probably fathering you guys.
That's pretty gay.
Yeah, meaning I banged your moms, and they're like, dudes. That's basically what I said. If you took it like 3 or 4 steps
there
later.
we go.
Dad,
There we
you
go.
finally
I was gonna let
came
you think
back.
about it.
You finally
I
came
had a
back
dad.
from getting milk to
Okay.
getting cigarettes.
Well, it happens.
But-
At this age, I'm learning. Like in the wild cards, I think 3 of those guys are my sons. I'm really not sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, my mom says that D. Clay and I have a very close family resemblance. It's really strange.
Going back to WildCards and also CNFT Con, so I've seen y'all's bond. So gay things could happen, and let's move on to the next question. Number 5. Next topic is, what is the dumbest thing you have ever done that led to you injuring yourself?
Who goes first?
So I went first last time.
I'm trying to even think. I've like so I've made it almost 24 years of life. I've never broken a bone. Bless the Lord, thank God. I never broken a bone. I've gotten a concussion at one time, but I'm trying to think. The dumbest thing I ever did that like led to me hurting myself is I probably when I was in maybe like middle school, like 8th grade, I was probably like 13, 14. Me and my brothers had this big thing where we like we'd go ride our bikes in the summertime, like a fucking long ass way more than we should have been. Like I would ride like 8 miles down through the fucking countryside and back. Like just no way should I have been riding my bike that far. But we were riding our bikes, and I was coming back, and we're going down this road where it's like a super big hill, and then a super like another hill uphill. So like we'd go down fast as hell, so we could like not have to pedal as much going up the big hill. And as we're going down this hill, I see this super sick Mercedes C-Class coming down. And I'm just fucking admiring. I'm like, man, this is a fucking sick car. I'm over here not paying attention, and then as I'm doing that, my shoestring got caught, or no, like the tongue of my shoe got caught under my pedal, and I literally front flipped over my bike and cut my leg. Like I should have got stitches, dude. I cut my leg to the bone, like all the way across my kneecap. It was bleeding like fuck, and that was all because I was just looking at someone's car, and I have a huge scar on my leg to this day from flipping over my bike going like 40 miles an hour down a hill because I wanted to look at some lady's car as she was driving by. So that's what immediately came to mind because I have the scar for it.
What specifically
bad,
about
man.
the car were you like, wow, that's gangster? What exactly on the C-Class? I used to have one.
Yeah, man.
What
Yeah,
about
man. It was
an AMG
just like
package.
yeah. It was like an AMG C-Class. Like it had like all the shit, like blacked out rims, blacked out, like everything was blacked out. Like it was just super sick. And I was like, man, this thing is dope. And then as soon as it passed me while I was like turning my head, I wasn't paying attention. And like I said, my shoe got stuck and I just flew over the top of my bike. And it was terrible.
That's not that dumb because that's just like being young and like
I
seeing
I also the time
car.
I got a concussion, I was playing on like these like the things you used to walk on for like physical therapy that you used to like hold with your hands. You know what I'm talking about? I was like standing on them and ended up like I was fucking around with some kids in my class when I was in like 5th grade, and I fell off and ended up banging my head on the way down as I fell on like the little bars that you hold in your
That's pretty
hands.
bad,
And
dude.
it literally knocked me out. Like I opened my eyes and my friend was spinning around in circles above me. I had a huge knot on the front and the back of my head. So I mean that was fun.
So want me to go real quick?
So-
I'll hook it. Or
Yes,
Yeah, you got it.
please.
Okay, so you just kind of reminded me because you're like saying when I was younger, this, and that. So again, I told you I hung out with some homies from back in the day. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but it one quick one is I got really hurt and I needed a whole bunch of stitches on my arm. You can maybe even see it on that, maybe not. It's like all ripped open there from when I was a kid, 20. When my boy stole a school bus and we got into shenanigans driving around the school bus.
Wait, you stole a
but
whole
that
like
was when I
a
was-
full size one, not a short bus, a full size one.
Full-size bus. And I'm not.
Badass.
I can't mention dude's name because he's on a certain. Yeah, we'll talk. That's a whole other thing. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. But the recent one, like I told you, I'm like getting old and shit, right? And so like 2 years ago, I was like getting my gruffness on, and I was like chopping down trees and splitting wood with a maul. I was pushing around a stone wall. I was like numb in the legs because I was working my everything so bad, right? And then I decided, this is the dumb part where the pain and the stupidity happens. Didn't tighten the trucks on the skateboard.
Oh fuck.
Went to the top of the hill.
Worst.
And again, I know you look at me like, wow, Steve, like you're 20-something. Nah, I'm not.
Yep.
So hop on that skateboard. Truck's really loose. Really big hill. I start wobbling. And an old school Stevie who used to skateboard, I used to bail. If shit happens, you bail. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, you bail. You gotta bail. You gotta find some grass and just jump.
Not at this age nor this speed. So I bailed. It was at the beginning of the whole COVID scare part, right? So I bailed. I couldn't breathe or move really. Got myself up. Called my doctor. She's like, well, so sorry. Just take Advil. And I'm like, yo, I can't really breathe or feel my feet. She's like, oh, it's okay. You'll be fine. Take some Advil. So like weeks go on, months go on. I'm paying mad like doctor visits, like for like phone visits, saying, yeah, I can't breathe, can't feel my toes. Here's what I look like. Here's like pictures of all this stuff. She's like, okay. 4 months later, they finally, because again, COVID, like they couldn't risk people unless you're at like a high risk or like, like really emergency. I finally get, what's it called? X-rays. Broke all my ribs in the front and all my ribs in the back. So all my ribs were broken in 2 places. And so
That's
like my
not
lungs were all
good.
oh, that ain't good. And when I was
That's
looking
bad.
at that, I'm like, so I'm looking at these like slides or, the images, and I'm noticing my spine a little bit. I'm like, yo, doctor, is that normal? And the doctor's like, no, well, you obviously have scoliosis. I'm like, nah, bro, never had that scoliosis ever. He's like, So they threw me in an MRI like a month later to find out that like I had like basically broken my back. It
Oh my
popped
Jesus
out
Christ,
like
man.
a whole bunch of discs popped out. So they had to like shave the discs, cut out my spine part of it, seal me up, and then yeah.
Fuck.
So long story short,
Jesus Christ,
stupidest
man.
Long story short,
in my
just
40s,
if you're gonna bail, find some
crashing
grass.
the board.
Yeah, if you're
It
gonna
was
bail,
on
find some
grass.
grass.
Just do it. If you're over 40 something, don't do that unless you do that.
Dude, that's so fun. That's so funny. Mitch, I know you're about to go. I want to say like a quick story. So I used to like me and my buddies like a couple
Longboard.
years ago, we used to like all like longboard like a shit ton, right? So we'd go down these like through the park trails and shit that are paved. And one of my buddies, he had never longboarded before at all, and I had like 3 boards. And I gave like a bunch of my friends came with me, so I was like kind of divvying out boards, and all I had left was like a penny board, like a nickel board, like a little plastic, board for one of my
I
other
love
friends
those.
that like had never
Same.
skated, right? So he's riding around on it, like we're just vibing, having a good time, and we get to this. And listen, like I'm the responsible friend, like we do dumb shit, but I'm always the one that's like there to pick up the pieces. So every time we would go longboarding, I always had like my backpack that had like my skate tool in it, Titan trucks, and I had like a little like a first aid kit in case someone fucking fell or something happened crazy, like some water, something crazy happened. And
That's right. You're ready. You're ready. You're Boy
yeah,
Scout.
yeah. We're about to bomb. So we pull up on this hill and we're about to bomb. And I told my buddy, I was like, look, you got the penny board. You cannot you can't ride hills with this. It's too small. Like you're gonna start wobbling. Like you need to like just walk it and like meet us down the way or whatever. And like so we take off and I'm the first one. And as I'm banking out the corner at the bottom, I turn around and see my friend. He's actually riding down on the nickel board on this huge paved hill. And I see, he gets the speedy wobbles like you do. Like he's shaking back and forth. And I see him like go for like the grass, just lay out flat like Superman. Like he's going for the grass and just misses. I mean, I'm talking about hits the pavement and starts sliding sideways on the pavement. So dude, I hop off my board like on my feet and I'm like sprinting backwards. Like I know he's fucked up. And dude, I'm pretty sure he ripped his whole nipple off on one side. Like it was just bleeding out. So I'm bandaging my boy up. Like he cut through his shirt. He's like bleeding all across his chest. I'm bandaging my boy up. So hey, I mean, if you take anything from this pod, don't try to go down some crazy hills, man. Just walk. Like it's not worth it. It's
Or
not
at least
worth
put
it.
duct
Just
tape
walk.
on your nipples. Put duct tape on your nipples so you don't get them ripped
Yeah,
off.
because that probably took a long time to heal from, man. I was taping them up and everything. It was crazy.
You're a good friend.
Hey, I'll look out for the boys.
I told mine like 2 weeks ago where I was in college back then, and then I had a motorboard, which is a longboard, but there's a motor on it that goes like 30 miles per hour.
It's so sick. I want one.
So and then one time I fell on my face like so hard, and the bell like just went off and I fell. So everybody's like coming out of their glasses to see me like in the middle of the road, just on my fucking ass, like walking over like a zombie. But like I don't get injured. I also told A about the time I double fisted a window, like got the last shards all over my arms after rushing a fraternity. But
It's a lesson to you children.
Don't join a fraternity.
Yeah, don't pay for friends. You can pay for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just don't pay for your friends.
Which is kind of weird to say because I've bought so many NFTs. I now have so many.
It's a better investment.
So it's like I kind of did pay for friends, but also at the same time, I also got goats.
It's about the community,
and
bro.
humans
But are they
and
really your
comes out of it.
buddies?
You guys?
Wait, You said you got a whole bunch of friends for owning those, or those are your friends?
Those are my buddies.
You have
But-
a great group of friends.
Don't
I
I?
would.
But with the dumbest thing I've ever done, this kind of involves hurting my ex, which sounds bad, and it was not on purpose.
It does. It's
but
already a bad intro, but I'm ready.
yeah, it sounds
continue.
so bad. Nobody clip this, please. But the time was we went back for the 4th of July to my college, which was like 4 hours away. So we went to a party, and so there wasn't enough cars there for people, and I don't know why we didn't just Uber. So I was dating somebody at the time, and we got into my buddy's like maybe 2002 something kind of vehicle. So she is on my lap. Lucky me. Well, not lucky her, because she was getting in and I thought she wasn't. But for some reason, her fingers were inside the door. So I like shut the door, and because it's an old car, there's like no guard at all. So like we ended up going to the emergency room for like 2 or 3 hours after. It's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Then next day, she gets it all bound up, wrapped up. It's not broken. It's just like very fucked up.
Lucky. Damn.
Yeah.
But you can tell we aren't dating anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't date you either after you slam my hand
Yeah.
in the fucking door.
That's bad. That she shouldn't have kept her in there for that long.
That's how most people get in a car, you know what I mean? Like, they gotta duck their heads, you know?
Yeah. Well, next
fucked
time,
up.
just don't sit on my little lap. Problem solved.
All right, awesome, Stevie. So this is like kind of like a segment itself, like kind of like a bit, if you will. It's kind of like a multifaceted question, right? So it's surrounding the WildCards gang, you know, all a dozen of you or whatever. That's right. So the question is, if you were stuck with the WildCards crew during an apocalypse, who would? And then there's 4 questions coming after that, right? So it's basically it's you and the WildCards gang. It's an apocalypse, zombies, whatever you want to think, world's ending, whatever the fuck's happening. So it's apocalyptic, scenario. So first question is, who would get got first? Like, who's first man that gets taken out, gets unalived first? You know, however you want to say it. Who gets out first?
Gets unalived. Gets murdered.
Wait, what do you mean?
Gets got by like a rival.
What do you
Gets
mean?
got by like a
Who's the-
rival crew for whatever reason. Like it's
Gets
apocalypse.
murdered. Gets
like-
murdered. Remember, he's an older
Like-
man. We can't use these young hip terms. Yeah.
So he gets murdered. First one murdered, gets got. I got get got. Hold on. Now, shit, I'm gonna get got for even saying anybody's fucking
We're trying to
name
stir
as
it
I'm
up.
looking at it. The only one who would forgive me, shit. Shit. I'm looking at I got my list here of who's the shit, man. Who's gonna get got
Yeah, it's
first?
apocalypse. Scarce resources. Maybe they wandered out, just got fucked up. Whoever.
Okay, if you're saying they wandered out and got fucked up, I'm gonna just say shit. I'm gonna have to fight. I mean, these dudes, we're gonna fight. You understand? When this leaks out. Baba Booey's getting eaten first
go.
because like he's a bigger dude and he loves to party. So like last WildCard show, that dude was at like a concert and I swear he was like 9 different types of drinks done. So I'm picturing if the apocalypse is happening, the WildCards are sitting there, Roy is fucking sitting there drinking his whiskey and and then fucking the champ is here. Roy's thing, we got you, brother. And then he grabs Roy's whiskey and then just starts going bananas and getting shit house and then stumbling out to go to the packy to re-up and then he gets eaten. Love you, Baba. Love you, Baba. Didn't mean to say it like that. Roy, hit it.
Baba Booey. That's my favorite wild card. That's my favorite wild card sound. The Baba Booey is so good.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
Yo, Roy's a fucking animal.
The next question is likely lead everybody into a situation where the whole group fucking dies.
Yeah. So who are the wild?
It's like the same
No,
question.
it's different.
Like,
It's
that's the
different
same
because it's
question
different
as the
between
other
who
one.
would get got by themselves and
It
who would
isn't,
lead
because
the
afterwards-
group. Like who would get everyone to follow them into a bad situation.
No, see, this is the thing. So if Baba ended up stumbling out and getting got by
Okay.
zombies, all the rest of us would go out there and try to save the dude, so we'd all get got as a crew.
Okay.
If it were a different scenario, if someone was like, "Yo, let's go this way," I think that there's like ammunition there and hard
Yeah.
hats there, and other things of the sort. We already know that D Clay is going to bring us into the
Yeah.
the shit. He's
D
gonna get us
Clay's
in.
convincing
D-Clay's-
everybody.
He's gonna tell us like, yo. He's like, yo, I heard about this new project,
So-
this new project. Oh, and by the way, I think they have water
So
and
you're
grenades
saying-
over there, and everything's
Yeah.
gonna
So
be
you're
cool, my
saying D
boy.
Clay's coming to everybody with the alpha. Yeah,
Are you typing this
D
shit
Clay
up?
thinks that D Clay thinks that he
Maybe.
D Clay thinks he has the alpha basically. Like he's coming to everybody. He's like, I got the alpha. Let's go,
Oh.
and then everyone gets got.
I didn't say he thinks he has the alpha. He knows he has the alpha and leads us to get to our demise.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay.
Question three.
Question
Love you, D.
three.
Clay. My mom
Question
does too.
3. Okay. Who do you think out of the wild cards
Yeah.
gang in a situation like that that's intense, your life's on the line, who do you think would be the best leader of the wild cards crew? Like who would be like the most like keeping everybody in check?
I gotta be honest with you. Shit.
We're putting you on the spot. Because then when we have the
Yeah.
wild card boys on next week, then y'all can all argue about it.
Well, no, the thing is this. Hemi is... I don't want to put him on the spot, but like this answer is 3 parts. Because you got to understand, Hemi, I think in a different life... Okay. Hemi, I think, was part of SEAL Team 6. I feel like Hemi took out Osama bin Laden. I don't know everything about Hemi. I feel like he's that dude. Like, we'll be sitting at a bar, and he'll look at me and be like, yo, I'll be right back, I gotta use the bathroom. And he can kill somebody on the way to the bathroom and come back and not look like you really just thought he was in the bathroom, but he killed somebody and came back like, like for like the CIA or something. Just saying. I don't know. But so I feel like he'd be that dude to just like have that plan. You also have to understand that Cobra is great at like organizing and like motivating the dudes to do something like that. So I can picture him be like, yo guys, to be honest, this is me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm handsome, I'm singing, and I've been in bands, I got a beautiful voice, I got fucking hazel eyes. Everybody knows me for that. And we listen to Cobra as well. So he'd be like the non-Navy SEAL gangster commando version, but then also this motherfucker right in front of me who keeps on just throwing shit at me and finishing my list. The champ is here. Roy is no holds barred. Fuck you, motherfuckers! Listen to what I gotta say. You're gonna believe it. You're gonna do it, and we're gonna make it happen. So I don't know. Those 3 motherfuckers, they'd have to share it somehow.
Yeah, they're gonna be
in
like
that
the
regard.
council. They'll be the kind of like
And
the
this is
council
just-
that governs everybody. I got you.
We will choose
and-
whether we leave or not, but first we need to drink
But
some more whiskey.
And that's why I wonder if it would end like if like the leader would have to be like trial by combat. So if Hemi, Cobra, and Roy just had like, last man alive is actually going to be holding down the squad. That'll be interesting to see.
That's so funny. That is
Go ahead.
question 4.
The next question is, who would be the best with melee weapons?
So in your scenario, it's hand to hand. They're fighting out to see who's gonna be the leader of the pack.
Maybe axe to axe?
Yeah, who you got?
This is, again, you guys, I have my list here and I'm looking and picturing them. Have you ever seen Taxi wearing short shorts? He is like a Muay Thai machine. Like, he's a kickboxer. Dude wears like these like little spandex, like tight, short dungaree type things. And I feel like he'd really get his gangster on, in the melee. But you also, I don't know if you've ever seen Beto. That dude rocks like Timberlands, like whether it's summer.
And
or
that's a
winter
scary
time.
man.
And you never.
That's a
fucking
scary
wear
man.
underwear.
That's a
Beto,
scary
baby.
man.
You don't. And swag, like honestly, I don't know if swag is 10 feet tall or 3 feet tall, but either way, people are scared of that motherfucker, especially he's wearing Timbers. I really think like he's a force to be reckoned with, 100%. And I'm still looking through this. Have you ever seen CNFT Me Please, aka the Cosmic Adonis?
I don't think so.
Dude like works on like an oil rig. Dude like uses like wrenches the size of fucking Mitch right now to like tighten things for like the pipeline and
okay.
shit like that. Dude's arms are the size of your legs, okay? Like and Big Kahuna, they don't.
Yeah,
have
I've
you
seen Big
him?
Kahuna. Yeah,
he's
he's
a
the one I've
monster.
seen.
Like
He's a big code.
okay, Hecka's a beast too. Bowie's a beast, and again Hemi could probably kill everybody with nothing but like a wooden spoon and a napkin. Like I feel like.
So
I don't know.
I feel like we're landing
he's-
on Hemi. I feel like we're landing on Hemi because Hemi's just gonna like just outbody the next guy every time. So I feel like we're landing on Hemi on the leader of the outfit.
See, and now to finalize that, absolutely, I believe that. But I'm looking at the crew, and I'm going to tell you something, and this is not just because they're my boys. I feel like all these motherfuckers are ready to scrap all day, every day. Like, I feel like when we're hanging out in CNFT Con, we're going to get bruises with each other just wrestling or just, like, popping each other in the face real quick just because we're, like, puppies in a basket on Christmas morning. You know what I mean? So, like...
Yeah, y'all
like
going to
that's
be
how it's
trouble
gonna
when
happen.
everyone gets
So,
to drinking
yeah,
whiskey and shit. It's going to be a fucking time.
Yes.
Because everybody,
yes.
because I feel like
And that
everybody, because I
includes
feel like
even,
everybody
you
has
know,
that one friend in the group that like will drink whiskey and might say something crazy to somebody else. But I feel like everyone's got to keep them in check. So I feel like y'all might run into that.
You're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Big T, I gotta respectfully,
Okay.
you're wrong. I'm not gonna scroll through DMs right now, but there are moments where any one of us is ready to kill the
Okay.
other one for a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
moments
yeah, I
in the
got
DM, and then a second later, it's all like like nice shorts, like okay, Cobra, you look beautiful, you're in NSYNC, bye. Like it's all like beat the shit out of each other. Again, I think some of my best relationships, I guess, from all over the place are people like you might even had a beef with, or at least can bust their balls like a motherfucker. And when it comes to like those dudes, that's all we do. Like we really we have sincere love.
Yeah.
I talk to those dudes. I get texts, not just DMs. Bobo texted me like 3 times in the past couple days just about like our private lives. Like, yo, what's poppin' with this? Like, like we're always connecting, so we yell and attack and again wrestle one another maybe at CNFT Con, especially you, D Clay, you motherfucker. But at the end of the day, like again, like it's like we are a weird, stupid ass family like that. You know what I'm saying? But Hemi would probably kill us all in our sleep. Just saying.
Okay.
That kind of leads to our next one. So we do get that.
Oh shit! All right.
Hemi would be a Navy SEAL in his past life, but would he be the best with firearms also?
Is that a legit question? in
The
this garage here?
question is who would be the best with the guns?
I smile only because, again, I'm going to say this, I guess, publicly, but the private part is there's a handful of us who certainly may have different types of tactical training in regard to that kind of stuff, whether it's for business or pleasure. So, all kidding aside, a lot of these motherfuckers are gangster with a piece.
Got you.
Straight up.
Got you.
Okay.
Dude, it's funny. And I'm not trying to sound, we're a bunch of tough guys. No, it's not like that. Like, you like that? No, but a bunch of these dudes have some type of tactical training in regards to that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to have an all out with everybody with their sidearms.
Okay.
Hopefully not, though.
Right.
Not at CNFT Con and going from booth to booth, shooting guns at each other. But
Whoa.
never know.
Are you kidding me? It's, as much as Cobra wouldn't want me to say it, CNFT Con's like peace and
Yep,
love,
that's right.
Like, I know he's not a hippie these days, or maybe he is tomorrow, but like, it's genuinely and sincerely exciting to feel like a lot of these motherfuckers, including the wild card specifically. Again, I just told you dudes, like we've been talking for at least a year at this point, you know? So like I've been on the phone. I talk to Cobra like once a day, literally on a phone call at least. So it's like after this amount of time, he lives in fucking PR. I live over here near the Bean.
Yeah.
Like CNFT con. I'm going to PR at some point in the next couple months. You know what I'm saying? But like the con's giving me time to like hang with like Beto, Hecka, Henny. Like seriously, like it's
Yeah.
you.
I will say,
But you keep your hands to yourself.
Oh my God!
I know I'm pretty, but I'm not doing any of with you. Just saying.
Maybe if we were homies in the past, like 5-6 years ago, but people get older. People don't do acting anymore, so I can't do that anymore.
well,
Now it's real. It went from acting to real, brother. I don't know.
So to anybody going there, I will not kiss any of y'all unless you are
on
a
the lips.
hot CNFT babe that is also single. Then I'll kiss you the entire time. But
Yeah, I will say I wanted to make one quick caveat before we migrate into the final point of the podcast. I will say that kind of joining like the Twitter space or the CNFT space like late December of last year, like even through like probably throughout the middle of this year as Twitter spaces kind of became more and more prevalent. I feel like I was kind of the mindset that like a lot of people in the Twitter space fear because there is so many CNFT Twitter spaces around the block. I felt like a lot of it was kind of like shilling and pumping bags like we were talking about earlier. But I will say that like I do appreciate the wild cards, not even even outside of their space, just because like even today I remember like I was scrolling Twitter like while I was on a work call or something, and I saw Cobra had said something. D-Clay and Viva and him were kind of having like a disagreement, like the three of them, they were kind of going back and forth. But I always felt like you know it's not like D-Clay and Cobra were like, hey man, fuck you. Like they were just like disagreeing with each other, but it was nothing like personal. Viva jumped in, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying about. I think that goes back to what you've been saying about the wild cards this whole time. Is it's not like a lot of shilling and bag pumping. Like it's like a lot of like real ass conversations where like people disagree, people argue, but at the end of the day, like you're all really good friends. And I think that's what moves the space forward,
what
right?
it is.
Especially in a bear market, man. Like vibes are fucking down bad. Like we really just need to be friends. Like just get closer as a community. Like you know, the core people that have hung around. Like we need to like reach out to each other, hang out, like talk with one another. And you know, I feel like that's kind of what moves the space, you know, going forward. So I just kind of wanted to make that quick caveat.
Well, listen, Big T, I agree with you, as always, my friend. And that's, I guess, the reason why I'm here hanging with you guys, too, and represent the wild cards. You know, it is... The played-out word is community, because some actually do it, some just say it. But, I mean, like, you know, to hang out and have conversations is community building. Something else I noticed about Twitter Spaces, if I could just take one more second, because you brought up something about, like, shill and this, and that. I've noticed, this is a topic for another time, but like Cardano Twitter Spaces are either a buffet of a bunch of projects being talked about or interviewed, which is great because you need the information, or talking about like the blockchain or the community itself. I think that's basically
that's
it,
kind of
right?
like the three
Again,
big
it's not bad.
subcategories.
You have information, you have parties. And I noticed, you know, in like Ethereum, for example, because I have a handful of Ethereum NFTs, a lot of Ethereum Twitter Spaces are NFT centric. They are specific to the NFT community that you are from. Not the I don't see as many Ethereum NFT Twitter Spaces as much as whatever, you know, insert Ethereum project.
Project NFT.
Yes,
spaces.
And there's not as many of those in Cardano, and that's something that I guess when you brought up the other dude coming over from the other blockchain, I think that's something that I've been seeing a little bit more of on Cardano, which again strengthens individual communities instead of depending on like Discord to build that community. You have these spaces that are for those communities. Like that's why certain like Ethereum projects have that strength, because like again, like, you know, I don't even own any, but like let's say like I don't know, some soul project, you know what I'm saying? Like any of these projects have these spaces and they're doing them every night and they're by the community and there's hundreds of people in there. And then you don't have as many of those spaces in Cardano. And I'm gonna give a shout out actually to Taxi. Taxi did like, and I think he's doing another space for like the Beat Boys, right? So like as someone who loves the project, he doesn't work for them or anything, he's just community rocking it publicly just for fun. And he's starting these spaces for a project specific, and I'd love to see more of those that get more. I mean, shit, a lot of these projects have what, between 5,000 and 10,000 NFTs, right? So if you're not just under the I'm in the Cardano NFT umbrella, you know, whenever Claymates have a freaking Twitter space, doesn't that fill up?
Yeah, and
this
right.
This is kind of a leak, but both Tyler and I will be doing something similar to what Taxi's doing in the next coming months. So I feel like we don't have that yet, but that's just because our community is very small currently.
Yeah, and to
so it'll.
Well, I think those things are.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Big
kind of
T.
like a quick, really side point is something I saw today too. Is the same dude we were talking about earlier that kind of jumped from chain, that was kind of trolling, got a big name in Cardano the past couple of weeks. He was saying something about Claymates or Clay Nation, whatever, saying some people with like their PFPs being toxic, yada yada. And I was kind of going through the comments and kind of saw a trend that I see a lot in our like kind of corner of crypto and CNFTs, which is everyone saying, well, like, hey, like, just join the Discord, like you'll catch the vibes. And I think we're all busy. Like we all have 9-to-5 jobs. Like, you know, we're all busy. So if I can throw in my AirPods and like listen to a Twitter space, like I feel like that's a lot more interactive, more so than like sitting here reading through Discord. And I think that's something that we need to kind of get away from as a community. Discord is great. I'm a Discord moderator for multiple projects, multiple that I'm talking about moderating in the future, and that's something I enjoy. But I also like am aware enough to know that like a lot of people don't have the time to sit here and scroll through fucking the vibe check on Discord. Like that's not the thing we should be doing. We should more so focus on Twitter. It's a more broad space. It's something where we can all interact, and I think that's something as a community we really got to get over, saying like we got to stop telling people to come check the Discord vibes, because like a lot of people don't have fucking time for that.
Well, I agree 100%. But actually, let's drop it to like 90 something. Just because, I guess, you know, it would be better if every project had a website that was informative and had that information so you could check it out. And so the quickest, easiest, cheapest way to do that is you have Discord, right? And I guess, you go to any big, any Discord or any website, you're able to contact us and you get an immediate discussion almost. And I think that's the biggest thing that Discords offer you is, you have a problem with JPEG store, you can go to their Discord, DM somebody, or like start a ticket, and then in a couple minutes you're getting helped, and that's great. But I mean, like, again, but to also agree with you, it's like there's a couple projects I'm interested in right now, and like, this is a time where there's not a lot of interest in a lot of different and new shit, but there's a few that I really want more info about, and the only way I can get that info is either if they tweet their white paper on their page, or if I go to their Discord and go through all these steps. And I mean, I'm just starting to, I have so many Discords. Every time I join one, I got to exit another one because I just keep on. I was doing that for a year.
And I think
so. I'd rather people on Twitter more doing Twitter Spaces, even those like Twitter communities and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't want to totally discount Discord because again, it at least gives that immediate conversation. I feel like again, like one of those people are going to reply to me quickly on Discord, but not a Twitter DM.
And I don't think, and like I said, I'm heavily involved in Discord. I'm a moderator, so like I don't think that I don't disagree with you in any aspect that it's a great way for communities to be able to reach out to the founders of the communities, like the developers, moderators, whatever might have you. I think that it's kind of like a crutch that we fall on as a community as a whole is when someone challenges like the way that somebody on Twitter with the PFP of a project that we support, it might be like talking, saying some crazy shit, out of pocket shit on Twitter. We'll kind of fall back on the, like, we'll just join the Discord, like you'll see the vibes, you know what I mean? I feel like we need to understand that a lot of people don't get on Discord like that, and they don't. So like I feel like what I'm saying, well, I think my point is that like we need to check each other like on like open forum like Twitter, and then like move forward from that, you know, have more community spaces and things like that.
Bring those vibes that you've got over in a Discord and bring them over to Twitter, and then bring them over to Facebook. Just bring them fucking everywhere.
Talk to my grandma on Facebook. Let's go.
So everybody knows how awesome your community is, but by keeping them there, you're doing nothing. Maybe if people like go down to the Twitter and then they open the bio and say, "Oh, sure, I'll join," but bring those vibes fucking everywhere, and that kind of leads us into our last topic, which is what
nice
somebody's got to do it. Somebody's fucking got to do it, because if I don't, this will be a 10-hour fucking podcast.
Yeah, Mitch knows me. I'll ramble on anything.
So it's
Me too, brother. That's why
right.
we're here and we're good. And why Mitch is in his kitchen right now mixing beverages for everybody and keeping us on track. Go ahead. Let's have the last question, cousin.
The last question is, what is the dumbest thing you have ever done for some type of cash, maybe crypto, but what is the dumbest thing you've ever done to make that?
And more so the topic is like an insignificant amount of money. So like whatever might seem like kind of like a small amount of money, but like you did some shit for like an insignificant amount of money that might seem like kind of wild.
Mine is so gay. Shit. This is the podcast where I come out as a homosexual. Shit. Somebody else go first.
No, I was about to say.
I knew shit was going to get spicy.
Somebody else go first. I don't want.
My answer is kind of. I'll go first. My answer is kind of dumb. Like I've said in multiple pods. Both of my brothers. I'm the youngest of the three brothers. I have three sisters, two brothers. I'm the youngest of the boys. So I mean, my brothers would dare me to do like really dumb shit for like $1, $2. Like I mean, they like locked me in the trunk and drove around the block like 20 times for like $1. You know what I mean? Like some real dumb shit that like, or like I'd be outside like fucking falling around in the pouring ass rain in the mud because they bet me I couldn't run to the other side of the yard and back, like all over like some quarters, you know what I mean? But like if my brothers would tell me any amount of money, I would fucking do it, because like they're both my older brothers. Like I was gonna prove to them I was gonna do some shit. So I mean that's kind of like where my mind went.
All right, I'm gonna go quick then because I just totally remembered the stupidest shit I did with this dude. Actually, I just saw a few days ago. We haven't seen each other in 25 years. We used to go to this biker bar. I forget where it was, but like it was just this rowdy group of just old school, you know, Harley leather jackets, you know, blues music in the background, and people just looking mean and nasty. So we used to go there and just act mean and nasty and act so stupid. Jesus. Because like again, you know, you zoom out and you see like all these real legit like old bastards being tough and cool, and then these two like 20-something-year-old guys being like, yo, doing whatever. So, like, you know, I mean, it was like, you know, literally, like, because as soon as Tyler was saying that, I'm thinking, yo, I was with my boy. And, like, all those things were like, yo, I bet you this napkin, that, you know what I mean? And, like, and we were in this bar. What was the name of it? It was, shit, I'm going to have to really think about that or holler at him. But we ended up, like, again, stupid shit. We're, like, 20-something. Drinking, again, betting on nothing. Like, I bet you this ashtray, or I bet you a smile, just really because, like, you know, we're in a biker bar being stupid, you know, breaking bottles over each other's head and shit like that.
Everybody does that.
Obviously. So, you know, like those lighters with, like, the guard, like, over the striking part, like, you know, like, it's like that, like, metal little thing. So, if you unbend that and leave it in, it makes this weird curvy shape connected to the whatever. And so I'm almost done. This is stupid because I just seen this dude the other day, and he brought it up. He's sitting there holding the lighter, so like the whole thing is like red, like that, like little curve and the whole metal part, bright red. And he's like, "Do you want to join this?" He's like, again, picture the least tough animal that you can. He's like, "Do you want to join the swans?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "The swans." Rips his sleeve off, takes the lighter, and presses up into his arm, and it's like burning and melting and smoking and gross. He rips it off, and it's this hilarious like circle here with like this big swoop, and that was a swan. And I'm like, yo, and again, we're in a biker place where these dudes are really like having like real tough guy things, and this guy's saying, "Want to join the swans?" So I'm like, "Fucking hell, join this fucking swans for life," and we're like, yo, the swans. We're asking other dudes if they want to join the swans. I pulled my shirt down, and dude made me a swan. And it was really like, I probably got like those old bottle caps where there was like the joke inside. It was Heffenreffer? Is that what? Or OE? Either OE or Heffenreffer had a little like riddle on the inside of the cap. And that was what I got for joining the swans. I got like this little riddle. On a
That is
on a
badass,
cap.
though.
That's crazy.
You joined a biker gang.
Yeah, let's see it.
That's pretty fucking sick.
I was in a real one.
Well, mine's
But this one was called the Swans.
Mine's
Gangsta.
a bit less gangster, but back when I worked at Chick-fil-A, and I'd be working there doing like 10-hour lunch rushes with like maybe 2 other people back in the kitchen cooking things up, being too busy to take a break, to eat food, to even breathe. But my last day of working there, my buddies there knew that every time I'd go there, I'd get the biggest ice cream cone before I left because it didn't cost anything. So that day, because it was the last day ever, they bet me $10 that I couldn't deep throat maybe a ice cream cone this big. Like, this is just the white, like, milky part of it. So and then like the manager's back in the back doing all the numbers, doing all the math, and he sees me just like deep throat this entire ice cream cone, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Nearly got fired on my last day of working at Chick-fil-A, but I ended up making an extra $20, so not too bad.
What a fucking story.
You rugged the whole time. I didn't hear that whole thing. Don't repeat it.
No.
I didn't hear it. It was all rugged. I didn't hear it. I missed out.
I don't think you. I
No,
don't
no,
think
no. It
you
was
did.
on.
But
It was on.
I'm clipping
But-
that. I'm putting that on.
I'm never
TikTok.
going to be the same.
Oh, I know you are. And that's why I did it so well. But anyways, guys, welcome to the 9th episode of the Degen Report. We hope you did love this 2-hour and 30-minute session. We
Sorry. That's
So much fun.
Steve.
Calling the professor.
we thank you for having you, and we might see you next week.
Yeah,
Never
come
know,
back.
man.
Come back next week for more WildCards crazies.
Oh, shit. Yeah, the wild card's going
Yeah.
to be up
Yep.
with this motherfucker.
right.
So be ready. There's going to be a whole lot of shenanigans. I think that's what those motherfuckers bring, as you know. I'm the tame version of all these
Shit.
dudes. I'm just
Yeah.
that regular Joe.
Yeah.
They the crazy motherfuckers. For real. But honestly, both you guys, Stutter Boy, Big T, like, for real, the Degen Report is fucking gangsta. I appreciate that you guys do it. Like we were talking about a minute ago about community and everything. You know, you're in a very small group of different people that are doing like video podcast spaces, etc., like this, specifically for, again, the overall community.
Yep.
So I think that's fucking badass, and I appreciate it as somebody. Again, one role that I think that the WildCards has is trying to, again, unite people, whether it doesn't matter what if it's necessarily on Cardano and whatever, but like-minded people that like to hang out, whatever. And you know, you guys bringing this is bringing that even farther out with the same type of people. And
Completely agree, man. So I'm going to tell you kind of why I did this was because I saw the path that you and the wildcards were going down, and I'm like, we could kind of go off of that, do it differently, maybe do it better in our eyes. So competition is always good, man. We do love the work that you and all of the boys do.
I was going to say thank you.
Well, we thank you for giving us this type of idea.
Yeah, like Mitch was saying, we wanted to do something different. And like you said, everybody has projects come on, you know, talk about why they're the next best thing. But like in a market like we have right now, you know, we just really need something that, you know, that can bring people together to like laugh and shoot the shit without like having to like, you know, use too much brain power talking about fucking technical analysis and, you know, crazy shit. Like, I mean, that matters, but like, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, and quite honestly, that's why, you know, and I can keep on talking about how much I love the crew like that, but honestly, that's why like Hemi and Hecka and like when Viva shows up.
That's the macro. He's the macro guy. Fucking Viva.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We let those motherfuckers deal with like the smart guy shit, and we let all the rest of the crew figure out all the NFT stuff and what we like and vibe with and can individually research. And then at the end of the day, we just fucking laugh at each other and talk about each other's heights and mothers and haircuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what we do. So you'll find out when these motherfuckers show up in this place. I hope they stay in check. And if you could erase that whole last part of the interview where we talked about the zombie apocalypse, because I think that they're not going to let me stay
we'll clip it and post on Twitter. We got you.
Airbnb over there in Vegas after that.
And to be
all right.
Before we do cut things off, which we do have to do, sadly. So is there anything you'd like to pimp?
Pimp or plug? I think you said pimp.
Pimp is fine.
Well, the term pimping and plugging sounds very enticing, gentlemen. But
especially after the 2 hours we just did.
You, again, I knew you'd go there. No, like, honestly, the only thing I really ever want to shill, I guess, quote unquote, is my fam. Like, you know, like, I'm here for you, for me, and for them. So I'm really glad they're going to be here, too.
Perfect.
And, like, that's the only thing I could ever shill is my crew.
And
WildCards,
we will pimp their Twitter down below. And on that note, we are going to end it. You guys should look forward to next episode, which we will have a whole gaggle of wild card those. And we do hope you did enjoy the 9th episode, and if you did, we would love if you dropped a sub, maybe a like, maybe leave a comment, and we will see you next time on the Degen Report.
Goodbye.
Peace.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.